Hey, thank you. I thought I'd change the title so people would stop asking, but I have a feeling that people will still ask. We'll see. If we're lucky. This was where we left last time, by the way. Where's the lads at? Level up screen, everything seems to work. You can set stuff on fire. You can get the ammo on hill, health on kill. The explosive reload thing makes all your shells eventually explode when they disappear. Yeah. I just thought maybe it would make people stop asking, but I know I'm wistful. Anyway. Today I want to try getting some gameplay done, because we don't have a game yet, and I would really like to start working on there being a game. Yeah. The game's been progressed a lot. Yeah, there's all sorts going on now. It's very cool. But I've spent too long messing around with all the weapons and the engine and stuff, so I think today I'm going to just try and start sketching out that level 1, which I'll have my notes for, but we'll see how much of this I still care for. The Hello, Bread Santa. I guess the game's big. Hang on, let me make this smaller. We're listening to my favorite song. I like Surfit. It's really hard to find CDs for Surfit, though. With Surfit on them. Anyway, handwriting reveal. Ta-da! These are old notes. These are now pretty old. It's fun looking through your notes and just seeing the shit you wrote. It's also useful because it means I've delegated my thinking to previous me. Yeah, and then it stops. I have some other notes in another document somewhere. I don't know where it is, but this is the one I keep on my desk. We're going to work on this today, as you can see. The very basic gameplay loop, and the way that you scale this into further loops, and the reason the game engine lets you do this. Not the zoom out, but you see how I can have multiple generation cycles? So 2, 7. The reason I wrote that is because the general game loop is going to be go to the end of one of those cycles, do a thing, whatever the thing may be, mini boss, pick something up, it will vary, and then because this isn't that tedious of a game, you know, you could have the option to teleport back to the base. I wouldn't make you run all the way back, and that can scale into infinity. Right? Let me see. Whatever. You've seen this stuff before, I hope. Yeah. So that's the idea. They obviously wouldn't be this long either. You know, the levels would be more like maybe not quite that short, but you know, you get the idea. Something within reason. Because your character's quite small, right? If you go down into the real world, you're actually a bit more this size. And I think the mini-map could point you in roughly the right direction. I need to modify the level. I forgot about right-click on this thing. The level will need to point you in the right way. And I'll need to make it so the level generator is more likely to not twist in on itself, but not impossible. You know, it'd be funny if the level 1 ends up turning into like a donut and you finish it in about 2 seconds. I think that's interesting. But, you know, this is a bit long, right? I should probably also fix the alt fire in the revolver. I might just disable it for a moment. Because, I don't want to write it today. I've done enough weapon stuff. Let me quickly do that. Where was that again? That's it, factory. Hey, I'm gonna turn that off for now. Oh, 100 months! Fucking hell! Thanks, potatoes. Holy shit, wool hee hee indeed, buddy. 100 months. That's huge. For that, you're getting one of these. Can I explain the second part of the question you asked on the software channel? If it's quick, yeah. Let me have a look. Because I want to focus today. I've been so distracted recently. Fire doesn't work on Fang stuff, but if they need to do architecture, they use pen and paper. Experiment a bit with Excalibur. I've known people who use Excalibur, yeah. Mermaid's pretty normal. Obsidian's very normal. Yeah. What do you need an explanation for? What do I use for system design? I mean, I've just showed you. Pen and paper. You know, if I'm at work, I use pen and paper or MS Paint, or if I really need to, I'll do it on like a whiteboard or draw.io or something, but like, you know. You want sketching to be as cheap as possible, right? Hey, Mystic. So this is the goal for today. Yeah. You have our level. We're going to generate, for level 1, let's just say it's 1 loop. Keep it nice and simple, right? How do you get through with the idea? Are you asking how I think? What do you use for system designs and how do you approach a problem? Let's say your game, what was going through your mind about it? I can't answer that. You're asking a very philosophical question about how human nature works through problems. I think... I don't know. That's it's a very vague question, I'm afraid. Back to this though. Look, you'll spawn somewhere. This will be the spawn area, right? And level 1 will just have the 1 corridor. Level 2 will have 2. Level 3 will have 3. And I don't know if I'll scale it quite that obviously, but you get the idea. So if we stick to level 1 being as simple as possible, it will generate kind of randomly the layers of consciousness. I'll try my best. I have no idea. Let's say this is roughly what our level 1 may look like, right? Along the way, and this is already generatable, right? We'll need to modify it so it generates enemies at particular intervals rather than the current thing, which is having a bucket of enemies that it just fills the level with. That's a little janky. Oh yeah, if you listen to me, you can see how I work through things. Because I'm now describing a design, you're watching it. I will then go through how I'm going to implement it. So that's a good point. Also, did you it's not called subbing on YouTube. Member? Did you member? I don't get a pop-up for it. Thanks, Bread Center. I think that's what that is. I don't see that icon very much. The only member I've had in a while has been Viverin, I think. On YouTube. Anyway. Going around, we'll start the level, we'll spawn in enemies every whatever. Okay? And we will spawn here. Currently, the game is forced to spawn a bunch of floors around you, but I personally think it's best if the spawn room is actually somewhat safe. So I'm going to make a little temporary tile, a very special tile, which spawns around the player at level start. And the moment you leave it, or the moment you shoot, it will be destroyed. So it just gives you like a second on level start. You can sit there as long as you like, just to collect your thoughts. Because one of the things I actually don't like about looping in Nuclear Throne is that where you spawn is sometimes not terribly safe, and it makes the game feel it's a bit much. Sometimes I just want to like just spend just a second to just think how I'm going to approach the puzzle ahead. Obviously on level 1 there's not going to be that much of a puzzle, but I think just having like a moment's breathing room, like the starting room in the Binding of Isaac, or the fact at the start of Risk of Rain levels there's no enemies usually, I think this is a nice idea. So I'm just going to do something lazy at the start. You know, I have all these images in my head of like force fields and stuff, but like who cares, right? It'll just be like some tile that if you shoot or if you leave it, it disappears. So not terribly fancy, but it just gives you a moment, right? You did, but you have to tame your excitement. First month is free for whatever's. Well, I think I still get paid by YouTube, right? I think I'm quite excited by that. Free money. And you're taking it from the big dog. Thanks, buddy. Anyway, the goal at the end of level 1, I think it would be nice to kind of introduce you either early to like a mini-boss style combat. Like we spawn an elite, and maybe we spawn an elite enemy at the end. Or we keep things like pretty simple, and we make it just like a little lever that you need to pull. Now, this will be obviously changed later in the game, because the lever doesn't really make thematic sense. Why is there a lever in the forest and why are you going there? But the mechanics of going somewhere and interacting with a thing, it doesn't matter what sprite I put here, the mechanics would still be walking up to it and pressing a button, or walking up to it and shooting it or something, right? So we can abstract that for now with like a little lever that you go over and pull. And the lever will then maybe either take you to the next level, or let me think. It could take you to like a little boss arena somewhere that's instanced far away. Or it could generate like a boss arena and then you fight a mini boss. I don't know how hardcore I want to get quite yet. I still like the idea. So like years ago, the game was going to be a Toho-like, if you remember. So there was going to be more like a bullet hell, like a vertical shmup. That was how the game used to look. If you watch old VODs, you'll see that it looks like this. You know, you move around like this, and then stuff comes in and shoots you like this. Very normal. My idea at the time was to have 2 different levels. You'd have one level that's the normal like shmup, and then you'd have a more like free level that's a bit more like we have here, with like a objective like what I've just described. Okay? You know, the idea of having a boss fight in like a separate space to the main game kind of interests me. But I don't know if it's too much, if it takes away from the game too much. So I don't know how much time I want to spend experimenting with it. I guess I can always prototype. I think I want the game to have like a decent amount of mechanical depth. So having a boss that like works within this small space on the level is a little restricting. Of course, I could make it so that when you interact with the object here, it just like destroys all the terrain nearby and turns it into a boss arena, but that's a little bit... it kind of takes you out of it a bit. I don't think that's terribly different from this thing teleporting you to like a special arena somewhere. In this case, it would actually probably... it would either destroy the level, or it would spawn a secondary level with the boss room in it, and then you'd fight like a little bullet hell boss, which could be fun. Does it have to be tile in your game's logic? It does. Could there be a distance for each? You imagine the safe... Oh, I mean, obviously I could just make spawn protection space from like a coordinate on the screen, of course. But I think, at least thematically, it makes more sense that it's a very temporary space. Like the image I have in my head, mind you, this isn't, I imagine, how I'll implement it, is you have like your grassy area, right? Something like this. And, oh, that doesn't fill. Oh. You have your grassy area. Why is this so hard? You have a grassy area, and then if you looked at it from like the side, you'd see like a something like this. This is my mental image, at least, of what this really is. Like, it's like a sort of industrial thing, and as you walk through, this would break. Right? But I'm not going to spend time spriting that right now, so I'm thinking I'm literally just going to draw, like, a metal thing. But mechanically, that's the idea. It's basically like a little pig pen, and if you go out of it, it goes away. That's the image I'm working with. And then it doesn't come back, so you sort of leave it once and then it's broken. Just for like a moment's rest in your head. I don't know why I'm bothering with all this. I'm distracting myself. You get the idea. Anyway, I kind of like the idea of... So I'm going to go with it for now. When you get to the end of the level, we're going to come across a thing. A whatever. It could be in this sense like a vehicle or something. Because maybe that makes more sense to describe on stream. You come across something, or a teleporter or whatever, you interact with it, and you teleport to an instanced boss room. Well, let's go away from the WoHo thing. This thing. So I'd have to spawn in either a second level, or I'd have to generate this really far away in coordinate space. I think to make the game work on higher loops, you know, I think it's easier to actually have this in like a secondary map. But then again, having a secondary map implies that I then need to store the... If I wanted you to go back to the old map, so let's say you could go in, fight the boss, and then teleport out to like pick up any old loot, I'd have to keep track of where everything was in the old map, which is not how things work right now. Entities are not held within the map. They have a transform. They're not linked to a map. So I think that might add a lot of unnecessary technical work. So let's just say that the teleporters are one way, maybe. Like the trapdoors in the Isaac, you know? You finish the boss, you have an option to go into the trapdoor and end the level, but in Isaac, the boss's room is directly connected to the doohickey, so that might not work with us. Another thing I could do is indeed to spawn the boss arena at the end of this snake, and just hope that you can't tunnel into it from other angles. Because the game is all about breaking blocks, right? Then again, maybe it's fine to let you break through blocks. If the level happens to loop around like this, maybe it's fine. Like if players notice, oh, that's the end of the level, I can't be asked to loot over there, I'm going to dig my way through the wall. Maybe that's actually sick as hell. My main problem is I don't want people to just try and dig directly to the boss. And there's a solution for that, which is to make it so every block away from the generated level that you dig, the more health that wall has, until eventually it would take like... It would either be invulnerable or it would take like 1,000 shots to break a wall. So I hope that makes sense. I can visualize it. This wall may have 1 health, this may have 2, this may have 4, this may have 8, and you get the idea, this is 16. So the further away you dig from the default level, the harder it would be to get through the wall, the more time it would take. To the point that you'd have to think, well, it's easier for me to just walk around. And I could make it scale very aggressively. It could go from like 10 to 50 to 200 or something. So just tunneling a little bit in this space could be easy, but then tunneling 1 tier out could be even harder and then eventually impossible. A bit like Bedrock in Minecraft, maybe. So all of this stuff, if I stitch all of this stuff together in my mind, I have a decision to make if I want the boss arena to be its own instanced space, or if I want the boss arena to be within the map. If it's within its own instance space, would I want it on the same map and just to teleport you like 1,000 blocks away? Or do I want it to be on a different map? And I think it's a lot of complexity to add stuff to a different map. The game kind of assumes you just have one, so I'm going to ditch that in an effort to save time. So really it's about if I want the boss arena to actually be here or not. I don't know. I think I'm okay to have exploits and bugs. I'm of the strong opinion that roguelites are the most fun when you can have a run where it just sucks, and then suddenly you get like a really broken item and you're like melting your way through the game. I think that's quite freeing because it makes you feel like you've beaten the game developer, right? If you're playing, I don't know, like Isaac has so many broken synergies, right? You're playing Isaac and then all of a sudden you get like infinite bombs or mum's knife or polyphemus or whatever, and just with your build it just happens to let you just melt your way through the game. I think that's fun, and I kind of think like being able to dig into the back of the boss arena is kind of sick. I'd have to see how I want to design the boss, to be perfectly honest. You can do what Genshin does, which pissed me off when I first started playing, which is if the boss doesn't shoot you for a bit because you're like hiding, its health gets reset, which is kind of... It annoyed me in Genshin, but it does put you off trying to cheese it. But then again, maybe it's like okay to let people cheese stuff. Like I just need to just find a boss that that gets around that. I think cheesing can be fun. If you have a really weak run, it can be fun. Like you're really dragging your way across the floor. If you're able to cheese through a boss just to try and get one more upgrade. You get another one that destroys the synergy. Yes, yeah, you pick up like the milk or whatever that makes your attacks really weak. Yeah. I'd like to have less of that. In a game like Isaac with a million items, it's kind of inevitable though. Mine only has 4 right now, so there's not a lot of unsynergy. Anyway, while we let this cook at the back of our head, I'm just going to quickly make that spawn area, because that's a really easy thing to knock off, right? How do I want to do this? Usually tiles are done... If I wanted to keep using the tile system, then I would do it within our normal world, wherever that is. Tile set? This one? Yeah, change the title. I'm just hoping people read it, but you know they won't. I could make it a tile. And that, in fact, might be the easiest thing possible, because I already have destructible tiles, right? My other thought was, like, there might be a way for me to have a tile that acts as a floor for the player, but a wall for enemies. So when the enemies do their line of sight check, they don't see you, but you can walk over it. I don't know if that's really possible with the current system, but my other thought was I could just make the tiles a bunch of entities, in which case I wouldn't put it in the tile map. And in fact, I think making the floor an entity might simplify things a lot. So I might do that. And then I don't have to deal with messing around with the tile map. It obviously will cause a bit of overdraw, but an overdraw of a few tiles won't really matter, I think. So thank you, Bread. I'm going to go with this for now. I think these are 16 by 16, right? So let's make a 16 by 16. And just draw that little industrial style tile that I was talking about earlier. Just to have something to picture. It doesn't need to be fancy, but it would be nice if it at least invokes the image I had in my head. You know, nothing too fancy, just whatever this is. That'll do. You see this? It's the spawn room. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, nothing fancy. I mean, I could make it like a little fancy. I think they were being facetious. Looks cute. That's the job, isn't it? I should never touch pixel art because I'm immediately like, oh, I can make it look pretty, but like it's gonna get deleted. Don't get too attached to this. It will not last. I mean, just like another one more tile, you know. Just one more pixel. You should never let me touch aspirate. All right, whatever. Stop touching it. It's so easy to make more. Like export. I'm just gonna call this spawn tile.png. Easy game. Stop working. It's so hard. It's so much fun to work and stuff. So we've got spawn tile.png. Where did that save? Did I not just export that? Where did it go? Concepts. Where did I save that? Oh. In the wrong spot. Let's put it in here then. Ah, here we go. Ah, nice and easy. Spawn tile.png. So if I go to Asset Manager, let me think. We'll keep it nice and basic for now, okay? Spawn tile. Spawn tile. I think it's textures world, right? Yeah. So now we have a spawn tile. What we can do is in the level generator, we actually are already generating a spawn room, see? I believe we have nothing to do with the registry at this sense, because this is happening asynchronously and I kind of don't want to deal with that. What we can do is store within the map data where this spawn room is. And then when we start the level, we can spawn these entities in. So let's see. Map.set tile, blah blah blah. I'm just going to store. It'd be nice if I had a map metadata struct as well. It's not a lot of data, to be honest. We've already got this enemy spawn positions thing, so we're gonna have an IVEC3 unordered map. Does it need to be an unordered map? I think it can be an unordered set. It can just be in an array. And this can be spawn tiles. STD array, IVEC3, and let's just say the spawn room is 9 for now. Dynamically built tile asset registry would save you 5 seconds. Oh, you mean one that just loads in everything into... this just loads everything from a folder, you mean? I could do that, but I'd still need to write the file names if I want to interact with them, right? I have hot reloading. Yeah, I think it's okay. I plan for most parts of the game to actually be in these maps, and these are all programmatic, right? So the weapons, for example. This is programmatic. All the weapons use the same loading thing. You just have to define somewhere that there's a file called rocket launcher, whatever. Where do I do that even? Flamethrower? I'm trying to remember where I do this stuff. I guess it's in the header somewhere. Oh, is it not? Is it in the JSON? Oh yeah, I do it in the JSON. So at least with like all the weapons and the enemies and the characters and stuff, that stuff's all at least loaded in like this. Hi, Donut. I think for now this will manage. I'm producing some content today, Donut. Oh, thank you. Yeah. I'm gonna start, because you missed the start of the stream. Senko-san. Yeah, you got Senko-san. I thought something updated on you, right? 84 months. Yeah. What do I have? I have Rainbow Senko-san. I've been subscribed to myself for 109 months. Apparently. Damn, Potatoes, you subbed to me, like, within 9 months of me getting partner. It's crazy. I think. That's the only way that would work. Anyway, I'm gonna make this today. The level. Oh, actually, Potatoes has the same badge as me. Writing a new stream title. Yeah, I'm hoping it stops people from asking. But I'm wondering if it will cause more conversation. We'll just have to see. Because if you want to be YouTube about it, technically they were driving engagement, even if they were driving me off the fucking cliff. You missed a few months in the middle. That's not okay, is it? You have a suspicion it might. I guess we'll just see. You know, actually, one of the stream... I managed to get adverts turned on. So if you're seeing them, you should have been seeing them already, but YouTube was getting money. I should be getting paid for them now instead. The other stream made... Get this. €3! I got paid €3 for 4.5 hours work. That's insane. That's more of a cut than I'd make from a single sale on this game if I sold it for a tenner. €3. I mean, okay, I'm going to be honest with you. The other streams have 18 cents, 80 cents, a euro, 25 cents, 23 cents. This one has 170 views and made €1.44. So I think someone clicked on an advert and bought something. Because that's an insane ratio. 1 cent for 873 views. 1 cent for 1,400 views. I think this is from when I forgot to turn adverts on. Yeah, 1 cent for those. But yeah, I made €3 the other day. More than your old videos made in a month. Yeah, I mean, it's more than my videos make usually. You can't sort by estimated revenue. I can sort by views though. My most viewed stream has 3,600 views, and it has made me 4 cents. So I was really impressed when I saw €3. I think people watched, and then they must have gotten like an Instagram advert for like a hat and bought it or something. I don't know. I don't know how this stuff works because it's a live stream, right? Does YouTube just give you ads in the middle of streams like Twitch now? Because I thought that was a thing they didn't do, which is one of the reasons we liked YouTube for streams. They give you like an ad at the start, but like you can get around that. Someone super chatted as well. Yeah, I don't think that's not included as advert revenue though. That's in its own list. That might have been one of the streams where it has like no views, but like made some cash actually. I don't know. Regardless. That's paid for this, huh? Now I can work harder than ever. Oh god, after my fucking work day. Back to VS Code. Close the work laptop, open the fucking monitor. Whatever, let's move on. I was starting to get work done. They give you ads, but the nice thing about YouTube is you can go back in the VOD and see what you missed. Oh, that is quite a bit nicer. Alright, anyway, I'm going to store the spawn tiles in the map the same way I store the enemy positions. And when I'm doing the spawn room, I'm quite literally just going to say spawn tiles map.blah dot push or in place. I don't know if it really matters. Yeah, in place a copy of that position. Easy game. Got you rewound and typed things to the streamer that were relevant 3 hours ago. Oh, I've had that happen. I've had people reacting to stuff that happened like a long time in the past. Oh, I guess it's a... Oh, hang on. Okay, I'm just going to simplify my life. Because I'm gonna, we're all gonna die one day. I'm just gonna say it's a vector. So it's a vector, we're just gonna place back. Let's move on. Hey, what's the idea of the game? It's a roguelite. There's lots of information in the description if you'd like to have a look. But we're currently making the level, so it will look just like this MS Paint drawing. I hope that explains things. You have NPCs, which way is it? Yeah, but we don't call it enemy AI anymore, you call it enemy behavior, because going from 2 letters to like 8 is an improvement, right? And people are like, oh, you're using an LLM to drive your enemies. Oh, not quite. Okay. So we already do the enemy spawn stuff somewhere. Enemy spawn positions. I'm just going to do this there. Wherever that is. Here we go. So for every position in the new map called spawn tiles, we're going to spawn tile at the position. Wow. Isn't it nice? Amazing. My music ended. My music started. Am I going to release it on Steam? One day, but no time soon. You'll be waiting a minute, I think. I don't know why you are prefixed with GLM. This is a very old function, I think. Also, I thought you were IVEC3. Curious. Well, in this case, it doesn't really matter, but I would like you to at least be an IVEC3. So I need to make a new component for this as well. That's easy. Somewhere in here, oh, whatever. Doesn't really matter. Is spawn tile. Construct. Why not? Easy game, easy life. So we're going to make an entity. We're going to give it a transform at the position. I guess transform is a vec3, so it's okay. We're going to give it the transform at that position. I'm also going to give it a... I'm going to give it a is spawn tile component, just as like a tag. And I'm going to give it a sprite. Add static animation, I guess. Entity. And it will be entity factory. That's myself. Asset manager. Spawn tile. You're a shared pointer to a texture. That might not be quite what I need. Yeah. That's okay. You can actually just be load solo animation with the exact same data as that cursor thing above you. That'll do. I thought. Oh, of course you'll need to be a solo animation. That's just fine. Fine. Obviously the frame rate doesn't matter, so that could just be 0, I guess. And 1 frame. So yeah, I mean, moving on now. We now have spawn tiles spawning in at that position. Ideally, we'll set the Z to be under the player, but that's one thing at a time, right? Imagine not making your own math slope. We have some math utilities like this. Can you make an AK-47? I could, yeah. I don't know if I would, but I could. I did have a concept for having like an M4 or some kind of assault rifle that has like a known pattern, so you can like counter pattern like in Counter-Strike, but I feel like it would get tedious, so I just haven't really progressed with it. Okay, let's see. Build, please. Oh! My graphics driver's just reset. I hope the stream is still live. Can you see me? I think I'm still live. I think Windows Explorer just crashed, of all things. If you can believe it. Is there going to be wall hop? It is a 2D game, bro. Can I ask what the -W9H suffix in your name means? Because there's a few people in chat with that, and I don't know if it's a randomly generated thing or it's like a gamer tag. Nothing changed. Okay. My entire screen like flashed black and then Windows Explorer restarted. Okay, so let's see. At my feet, I'm expecting to see a bunch of tiles. There we go. Obviously, they're not quite right yet, but this was the rough idea. It randomly generated the W9H thing. That's weird. It is fun to see that, like, just without even setting the Z at all, the way it works, right? A spray and pay. I mean, it would be a spray and pay, I guess. So yeah, let's fix the Z on this to just be underneath, which I think the screen does that from static electricity when you get up. That's really bad. Or not. Maybe it's benign. It either doesn't matter or it matters a lot. So you either should panic or you should not panic. I hope that made you feel better. Let's see. So generate floor, spawn room. See we go. Floor layer. So what I actually want is to emplace a new vec3. Hang on, I thought floor layer. How does this normally work? You should be underneath Z. But I guess because you have a sprite, you don't have that. Freaked you out a bit when it first happened, I could imagine. Let me try and remind myself. In render actor, because this is happening in the actor system, mind you. I think the position is using depth bias, and normally depth bias is placed on the sprite. So I could also just adjust the sprite depth, increase the bias on that. So yeah, I mean, that's probably the easiest thing to do even, right? So in Entity Factory, when we're spawning this in, we can get the animation. I think it returns the sprite. I'll have to check. Or do you, yeah, right? You give us a sprite. Sprite.depth. Because this is actually more of like an offset. Let's say it's 1 or 10. I think you're afloat, right? I don't remember if... It might be minus, actually. I'm currently living in the Netherlands, but it's crazy that you are as well. Goedemorgen. Well, goedenavond. How's the Donna game over here? I don't know. I don't eat meat. Not me. The X guy. Oh no, wait, you mean not me, you meant him. Now, I believe that these are currently centered and not actually put at their true positions. We need to offset all of these by half a tile. Which direction that is, I'll need to think for just a second. It's possible that in the asset manager here, do you set the offset? Where do I normally do that? I kind of thought I would be doing that in the sprites, but maybe not. Maybe just when it's being drawn? But then where do I load that from? Let's see. Origin is normally sprite origin, which is the sprite.origin, which is normally 0.5, 0.5. So, that means that at the XY, the sprite is shifted up and to the right to the center of the texture. But I guess is the bottom left the tile it takes? I should think so. I'm a vegetarian. Hey Wesley. Falafels over here. The Dutch, since living here, they've gotten a lot more vegetarian options. When I first moved, it was not fashionable. But it's been getting more fashionable, so the supermarkets have been increasing their stock. There's all sorts of like pre-made stuff now. It's not terribly expensive. There's like a whole fridge in the supermarket now of like what is essentially soy or tofu. I know it's the same thing, but it's culinarily raw soy versus tofu are different things in that sense. Hello, Chad. Or other things like corn, which is mushroom. All sorts of meat substitutes made out of other proteins. But I myself usually just buy the massive blocks of tofu and just eat like half or the whole thing most days, because I need to get my gains, you know. But yeah, everyone. Common issue with the gas cylinder in the chair causes some electromagnetics field magic. That's crazy. You got another interview for digital forensics. You don't know what that is. Sorry, you got an interview for a job and you don't know what it is? Or did I misunderstand? Let's see. This should shift them just about. Geometry Dash is made in C++, is it? You're over the border in Germany and the best food here is cultures from all mashups. Yeah, the Dutch are not known for their good food culture. Unfortunately. I think I need to shift it the other way. Somehow. I feel like the player should not be spawned... But maybe the player's meant to be spawned here. But we went to Berlin a few weeks ago and they had like an insane amount of vegan food and stuff. The working title of the game is Woho, but it probably won't last with that name. You were applying, everyone forgot about it. Stroopwafels. Yeah, the Dutch have good desserts. Butterkoek's really good, like butter cake. Butterkoek. Stroopwafels are good. I'm a big fan of Biscoff, but I think that's Belgian. Question mark. Yeah, I feel like I shouldn't be spawning in the bottom left. I have a feeling that when I give the player a new position, I actually move them away from the spawn area. Which is very funny. Let me just fix that quickly. But yeah, the Dutch, like the major cities will obviously have like hipster capitals where there's like people living and stuff. And they have interesting food, but most of the country is like... It's not all that. Interesting. I think maybe the way I'm doing the spawn room is incorrect then. So the spawn room size is the radius times 2 plus 1. I don't know why I do plus 1. Because if the radius is 2, then I should expect the size of the room to just be the radius times 2. I guess plus 1 because the center. That makes sense. Wait, larger than equal to spawn room size. You should just be less than, right? Or am I losing it? Nobody in Germany outside of Berlin likes Berlin. Oh, I know. When I've spoken to my German friends and I said I'm going to Berlin, they were like, but why? And I said, why not? I've never gone. Yeah, I think that's correct now. I've fixed this. Although I don't think the plus 1 is necessarily helping here. It's doing a lot more than I thought it was going to. Oh wait. Radius times 2 is... The same in Stockholm. They don't like Stockholm. It's funny because London's the same. Londoners love London, but outside of London, people hate London because London gets all the support from the government. Although I think the next Prime Minister in line, maybe, is very into Manchester. I don't know. Digital forensics is collecting, preserving, analyzing, and documenting digital evidence. That sounds cool. Yeah, that sounds about right. It's forensics, but on a computer. Crime scene investigation, that sort of thing. That's cool. That would be a cool job. Don't tell them you didn't know what it was when you do the interview. Or do. It's up to you. I'm trying to think if this tile's in the right spot. So I'm just going to... Oh, alpha, it's actually 0, right? So this should be correct. I'm just trying to work out why the player's not quite in the right spot. Because if... Hang on a moment. Why is this off? Sounds like a big field, yeah. The player is spawning at 0.5, 0.5. Are they meant to be spawning down here? Is this the center of the world? In which case it's going up and to the right too much, right? Then I'd expect this to be correct and then the extra row on the right or something to be way off. So what have I done wrong here? Oh, it's because the offset is the radius. It's not including the +1 thing. That makes sense. This is just incorrect. Hello, Kimeth. So if the radius is 2... Actually, this feels like it should be right. Like -2, but you're going to spawn room size. You should be going to spawn room radius. I think. In which case size doesn't do anything. I think this fixes it. Hearing Wesley talk about saying you make a game and at the same time you're working DevOps and framework dev for a hyperscaler for the public sector. Ooh. Less than equal to, I guess. It's nice when it's quick and easy to reload stuff because the level generator isn't touched by any other files. I fixed it. I just made the loop incorrectly. Okay, so this at least signifies the spawn area, which is nice to have. And this also sets precedent for just spawning in entities from level generation in general, which is kind of a sick first step. I'm going to be honest. If you wanted to spawn in like a treasure chest or an upgrade station or an entity that is not a tile. So if you want to, if it's a city and you wanted to spawn in streetlights, or if it's a forest and you wanted to spawn in like tree roots and stuff, something that's not tied to the tiles grid necessarily. It's nice. So we can now try and see if I can make this enemy proof. There's a few ways I can do it. One is to override all of the various functions that check for line of sight and movement, blah blah blah, which could work. And the other thing is just to have a flag on the player saying like can't be seen or something, and break the flag when none of these tiles exist. What I could even do is just say if spawn room tiles exist in the level, then don't interact with the player. That would be a very easy solution. Homestuck. Dude, I forgot about Homestuck. On the forums I used to frequent when I was younger, because yeah, right. There were a number of them who were mad into Homestuck, and I think I tried reading like the first volume. Oh, like it was like a Flash thing, right? I couldn't really get it. There is a mini-map. What do you mean a mini-map of the whole level? Because I don't want that. I think you should explore. You had a basic idea and was enough to help you answer their questions confidently, but you want to do cyber dev like you want to do software dev like me though. Investigating cybercrime sounds interesting. Intimidating? No, dude, that sounds interesting. I would absolutely do digital forensics. That sounds amazing. They're also probably less willing to replace you with robots. That it's hard to say, right? Can you tell me more about how you're making this? The FAQ, if the FAQ doesn't answer your questions, I can let me know and I'll answer them. But I need more specifics, I'm afraid. Otherwise, I get off topic every stream and I get no progress done. If you have a specific question, I'm happy to try. You got a spawn tile. I'm going to. I think it's nice for Sivar's sake. Where did I put my C-bars? It's nice just to have one that's like, I don't know what the word would be, but like the player is not seen by enemies. What would you say? Not intangible. Functionally invisible, but also like, you know, they don't, well, invisible I suppose it really isn't. I don't want to use invisible because that implies that you're invisible, which isn't true. Maybe it just is in safe zone. Is pretty player in safe zone. We'll keep it easy. Tomorrow's office day instead of home office. Ah, see you, dude. Imperceptible. Maybe. Deep Bread Center. Thanks for watching. You made a little UI to create your sprites. This is just a sprite. This is a sprite. This is a tool. You can pay for this or buy this or download this or whatever. I did not make a sprite. Thank you, Kenneth. Well, I only just updated the title, but this has been a game we've been working on for like 6 years or so. But I keep getting questions about it, and I figured maybe just adding it to the title will help with people who don't want to read like an FAQ. Hello, Voidhawk. Hello, Keen. Yeah, I think we're fine, Wesley. I think we're fine. Anyway, game. The drama with Bun. Was this at the barbecue? I don't know what that is, I'm sorry. Where would this be? Spawn room. So normally we finish this stuff here, and it would be, oh, what was it? I thought it was game. Maybe it's system manager, actually. Yeah. One time. Oh god, what was this stuff called again? I'm so sorry. It takes me 2 seconds to forget what I was working on. Here we go. So we can quite easily, when we start the level, create a reference to our settings, or to our CVARs. I can just say that when you start the level, the player is in the safe drone. Easy game. And you're angry at me because you're const. Fine. What kind of game are you making? Have a look in the description. I'm so sorry, Keen. I don't know what that means. Your suspicions were right. They might have been doing it. I am making a game because it's fun. That's true. It is. This is a fun thing. It's good for my brain. It'll keep the Alzheimer's off for a few more years. I hope. So let's see. It's good to use your brain, chat. I think that's what I've been told. It's apparently good to use your brain. Okay, so the player's in the safe zone. In the enemy system, when we are doing... actually, I might be able to have a different section for pathfinding, right? Find path with a star, etc., etc. I think it's just line of sight. What we can do is say, so if there's no player entity, it's null, or registry gets CVARs, blah 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 blah. Is player is in safe zone. I'll be honest, you will, for now, this will only be on at the start of the level when enemies won't have seen you. I am not going to bother programming the behavior for what if a safe room tile suddenly spawns in the middle of the match and you need to deal with it. I'm not going to bother with that. I don't know. Why wouldn't you use your brain? Maybe it gets tired. My brain's kind of tired. Like some would think it's like a muscle, so the more you use it, the better it gets, and you connect those neuron pathways and stuff. But I'm like, maybe I'm just cooking my brain. Maybe I should play some slop or something. I don't know. You have interaction sequence diagrams showing the whole architecture or something similar to the design of your engine and documentation. No, I don't. There's certain things which I've diagrammed out, like the enemy behavior tree. The way that the enemy state machine works, I did diagram that out. That was on draw.io because it helped me work through like how the states change between each other and what each of them should do and what the triggers should be. I find it easier to look at this sort of stuff on a graph than in a file. But for the most part, this has just been a very long iterative project, and because it's me working on it, I know how everything works because I wrote it, if that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense to have diagrams and stuff if you need to explain stuff to other people in shorthand, or remind yourself, because you know yourself in the future is a stranger. I haven't massively needed it yet. I can usually remember where stuff is and how stuff works, and then the general architecture. Both your brain and muscles should get rest. Yeah, but I probably should have still gone to the gym today. Like these aren't going to build themselves, you know. You should make an engine but not a game. Yeah, go for it, buddy. I'm sure you can manage. Why Rust? Why Rust? Be honest with me. Are you just asking questions to ask questions, or do you genuinely love Rust? Because I don't know a single professional person who uses Rust. I know people who've tried it, but I don't know anyone in real life who uses it. Hello, Mad. I know more people who use Java 8 than Rust. It's very popular on the internet, but I think it's really industry dependent. I imagine if you work in like the military, it's good. Because it's, you know, it's all about, at any cost, reducing risk. But most companies are kind of fine with the risks that C++ bring, and the fact that it's so much faster to write because people have so many more years of experience with it, and there's a lot of precedence, and, you know, with a bit of danger, things can be a little quicker, right? You can get out the front door a lot faster if you don't tie up your shoelaces. Just run out the front door with your socks on. What the particle JSON? Particle JSON is a definition of a bunch of particles, which I wrote with my keyboard. That's how like the rocket trails smoke, the fire, the ricochets, the explosion, these are all defined. You used it for 4 years working on cryptography libs. That sounds like a good use for Rust. I work in embedded normally, where there is limited reason to use Rust. 400 lines by hand is a bit crazy. Well, what is crazy is you can just do this. You do this, and then you say new particle, and then you just change the numbers. So this did take fucking forever, because originally this was all in code, and I had to come up with a way to write this in JSON and then write the deserializer. But I did it eventually. There was a few weeks ago, like a couple of months ago now, I'm very glad I did, because it means that you can change this stuff while the game's running. Yeah. Strong typing versus general language readability. My problem in Rust is just the lack of experience. I don't use it, I don't know anyone that uses it, and the one time we used it at work was an experiment, and it took a long time to sort of relearn how to architect stuff because of how Rust works, because of how the borrow checker works. You have to design stuff very differently. A lot of old pre-existing patterns don't really make sense in Rust, which is fine. But that's a lot of startup cost to using a language. Are the enums related to behaviors or just for checking? You mean these? This is just a flag, but the flag is handled in code. You know, if something's idle, we have a function. Well, they're thinking about changing state. They have a function where they're changing state and a function where they execute state. If you're executing state, then you do stuff. You do pathing. You move. You start shooting or whatever. Things are separated. I'm quite proud of this. I'll be honest. But I need to concentrate. I keep getting off track. The game is 3D rendered, but it's from a top-down view, and there's no 3D objects. Maybe there's technically a plane. But would you consider that a 3D object? I don't know. I guess, because a plane can have sides, which a 2D one doesn't. Yeah. Thank you. Execute state. Yeah. Sorry, allow me to continue what I'm doing. So, if the player's in the safe zone, then there's no player in the site, they're not going to bother. Okay? I think if you shoot the enemy, they actually will immediately cotton on to you, which we could test. Let's see. COBOL's a very old language. A very old language. I don't know if is it older than C? Probably not, right? Or is it? It's been around for fucking ever. It has Z coordinates, but they're all 0. But it does have a Z coordinate. A square doesn't have a Z coordinate. You can infer it at 0, but you can also infer it at infinity or -5. It doesn't have one. Right, let's see. There's an enemy nearby, and they don't see me. But then actually, do I have a modifier for that CVAR yet? No, I guess not. If I shoot him, I think he will cotton on to me. Yeah, that's funny. I've never really... Well, it's been a while since I've been able to test that. If I turn on the enemy sightlines, which I think is broken, actually, because it's a line that is being drawn under the map, so never mind. You can only see his state. This enemy is... he's in the state of not really caring. If I shoot him, you can see he's now aggressive. So the spawn room is kind of doing its job. What I need to do is to turn this off when you leave the safe zone, or if you shoot. So, how do I want to handle that? This is build, what's the build system? It's all CMake related stuff. We've got somewhere, I think we're using MSVC, some on Windows, and I think we're using Ninja, right? I don't remember. Everything's just being done through CMake. I'm not a build system expert. This works, so I just use it. It's pretty big. Not really. The list of source files and then a couple of tags. It's pretty small. The build system is MS build and CMake is the build system configurator. Thanks, Donut. This stuff, I'm always lost with it. I was lost with it in mobile as well. We had Gradle and then all the other shit. Can't remember these days. I don't think C++ will be replaced because it's old. It's old. Old stuff stays. Have you seen like a brick wall? We got new materials, but bricks are pretty good. Bricks are nice. Okay, let me think. Do I have anything that's like detecting when you aren't colliding? Because I guess that's every frame, but it feels weird to constantly check for collisions with stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because currently collisions are being detected as they happen. I guess I could just wait for a tick where the player where this CVAR is set and the player isn't colliding with one. I could also just make it so you have to shoot your way out. That might be fun. We have a wrapper class for making button or something. Hello, an hour of screen time. It's right out to sleep yet. You get an extra hour. These buttons we did the other day. These are just components. Now I'm wondering how I want to do this. I use a sprite for making sprites. Oh, it's cute that we're dancing together. Do you see that? That's really sweet. He is pointing a rocket launcher at my head, but I'm going to pretend I didn't see that. Okay. Vector subscript out of range. Yeah, you're not allowed to press F4 on, MGUI. Made a class for them and built them on the spot. What? The buttons are buttons. I can't explain how everything works in this game. I will never get anything done. So the level up button is something with a clickable entity. It has a tag saying it's a level up button. It has an animation. It has the upgrade that is held under it. Clickable things have a click box and then some state to represent hover, click, so on and so forth. That's it. It works. It's very nice. We have a function for a clickable system which handles all the clicking. And action responder, which handles hovering, and it's nice. Anyway, let me continue. Spawn room. I mean, I could just start drawing the wall around. Okay, I'm gonna do it the basic way for now, and then if I can think of something better later, we'll make it. How about that? That's the best way to do some of these things. It's not worth overthinking things always. So, just gonna have a ball. Check for spawn room collision. So. System manager. When we start all this, do you have access to the collision system? I'm suspecting not, because you're going to load the play systems in here, aren't you? But you do get created. Okay, let's do it even more basically. We're going to just check that CVAR, because that's nice and easy. And we're just going to do it every tick for now, and then we'll optimize it later. So, if the player is in the safe zone, then we actually need to check. Is it necessarily easier to hold a local bool for this than to just check for this CVAR every frame? It depends on, I guess, the hashing function behind get. So it is technically slightly faster, and it's one ball. It's okay for now, I suppose. Yeah, we have collisions and stuff, don't worry. I'm just thinking about a nice way to do this. Because currently they don't have a collision, by the way. Which is an interesting thought, actually. Our collisions are usually circles. I don't usually allow you to have a square collision. You can obviously have a square collision with the map and tiles, but these aren't tiles. So does it make sense to make them tiles? Or of course I could just have a secondary check for... Well, fetch per frame isn't going to affect anything. You can make the ball a local variable in the function. Oh yeah, I mean that's fine as well. That doesn't massively matter. What are the specs on your PC? I don't know. Does that matter? I'll come up with sniped. Yeah, I can ban them if you want. Are they still here? But I don't see them anymore. I don't see that user anymore. Oh, there they are. Oh yeah. Yeah, they had a Hitler profile picture. That's kind of gross. I can get rid of them. Hot take. Bad man. Don't want that on my stream, thanks. Donut is the library I'm using in between to handle SDL and OpenGL. Yeah, SDL is mostly used for Windows and inputs and stuff. Why don't I open source this? Why would I open source this? Here's a weird thing to have. Yeah, sorry, I don't... Where's your picture? A mountain. I don't tend to look at people's pictures. It's quite a small icon on my side screen, but thanks for letting me know. Okay, let me think for a hot minute. Usually, we store elements as axis-aligned bounding boxes. So I don't see any reason why we couldn't support square hitboxes. I think that's okay. We'll just have to handle them differently. Because usually we do intersects function and then we cast the collision back to circle. I see no reason why we can't cast it back to square. A square hitbox is still an axis-aligned bounding box. My engine hammers my GPU. Does my game look like it hammers the GPU? Because I'm pretty sure this could run on a bread knife. I don't know, if only F2 worked, I would call this circle collision or something. I could have collision and then like a function that you override called shape. An open source community member should promote one. What do you mean? The toaster, but one step before, yeah. So like, if I were thinking of this in like an OOP way, I would have made collision something that you can't instantiate, and then I would have a subclass that's like circle collision. This is just pseudo. Well, sort of pseudo. You have circle, you'd have square. Or when you instantiate the collision, you'd provide a T shape, whatever, and then you'd have whatever. Well, I needed the square hitbox. So the design I'm currently working with is to have a spawn room which has square tiles. And as you leave the square spawn tiles, I want them to be destroyed. So ideally, I'd like their hitbox to match their shape, which is that of a tile. And I thought it was... I want to start using entities in the level. So I think this was a nice place to start. Of course, I could make it a member of the level generator, but then I'd have to think about other meta information, and I just wanted to start using this methodology. But yeah, the idea is if you shoot or if you leave, it gets destroyed. And I think having the precedence for different shapes is fine. You know, if you have another shape, I would think square is quite useful to have. So as you walk over here, you're no longer colliding with it, it gets destroyed. Circle would probably kind of work. It would look a little weird, but there's definitely a way to kind of make it work. But I think it's okay to make these as a square. So, I mean, what I could obviously do is just copy and paste it and say square collision, but that's weird, right? A large square that covers the whole thing. Well, I was going to say per tile. Per tile. So, because eventually the design language was to have something a bit more like this pen. So, you know, it's something where like maybe you'd shoot the walls on the edge and you'd graphically see stuff change. So for now, I'm just going to say each individual tile has its own little box. That's fine for now. It's easy to understand at least. And as you leave, they all get destroyed. Sound effects would be nice, yeah, but I'm putting those off basically. Partially because I think it will be a nice treat when we do get to it, to just bash out a bunch of sound effects. It's like a free win. But also because it's another thing to just constantly do, and I'd rather sit down and give it its own dedicated space. Thank you. Anyway, I'm thinking that we can have a collision. Layers. I got some. I kind of don't want to have to rewrite everywhere that's already using collision, because everywhere is already assuming it's a circle. That's one thing I'm keeping in mind. Just adding a shape that you need to use when you construct it might help, but it might also complicate some things. We usually assume that collisions are circles. I guess in this sense we don't, but I guess it'll be in the physics and the collision system. So, calculating a hull with a circle, for example. I'm thinking we could flip this on its head and say that the collision could have it's currently used for things that want collision resolution. So your square collision would implement its own version of find smallest separation, which your spawn region is not going to end up using. Yeah, so I could just void that out or put like an abort there. I'm thinking that maybe some of these functions could be within collision itself. So anywhere where I'm creating a circle using a transform position and radius, this could be a function on collision which returns I'm guessing circle comes from a shape or something. No? You don't have a superclass over shapes? In your library? Well, that's a hassle. Your circle doesn't... Or does it? I don't think it does. There's nothing that relates a circle to a capsule, so it would just have to be a T. That's fine, I guess. Until you realize that T may not fit into... Get map copy. Spawn region component might be better. Yeah, but you heard me, right? I'm thinking of having different shape collisions. It's handy to have that as a dial. Making a special thing just for the spawn room is kind of annoying. If I want to have a treasure chest that you interact with, what would a common shape base class help with? You went to school. So look, let's say in this example that circle and square both had a common base class. Okay? They both have a common base class. I could make it so collision has a get shape function, which returns a shape, so a circle or a square or whatever. And then later on, my functions like find smallest separation could take one of those shapes, instead of just being T, anything. That would be handy. Because obviously I could make a box, like I could make a wrapper around your thing. The solution is to use a variant. I guess a variant could work for that. I just thought your library would have that already. But variant would solve that problem actually. But I'm now wondering if that. So my point was, I have a lot of places that infer that collision involves making a circle. And ideally, I'd like to avoid refactoring a trillion places with a bunch of noise and a bunch of mess. So if I could make it so the collision, I can even just check where I'm spawning a circle. Collision system and physics might be the only real spots. In which case, I just need to make this would be particularly annoying. Donut intersects takes specifically in this point a circle. If I wanted this function here to return, you see my annoyance. Of course I could have a function called get as circle get as square, but that is dumb. I think that would be dumb. Then again, square, not circle. Square sort of has a radius if you don't include the diagonal. If you have a vertical and horizontal radius of half, then that square takes up a tile. What's a nice way to do this? And then of course there is just the method of just having a different thing called rectangle collision, which would just be a clone of regular collision. But I was kind of thinking it would be nice if the enemy would not be able to collide with it. Multiple dispatch. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a nice way. Because really what I'm talking about is a entity which is solid for other entities, so the enemies can't walk into it, but you can. So that would require a mask. I'd ideally want it to have a square hitbox, so it interacts like the level. But then, unlike the level, I'd like to be able to place these types of objects not on tiles. I've been talking obviously about the spawn room tiles this whole time, but if I were to have a level up chest that spawns in, I could of course replace that floor tile, the entire square, with a chest sprite, sort of Game Boy style, which could work. But I was kind of thinking that the chest could spawn off grid, so if the grid is like this, the chest may be spawning like this, and you could still sort of walk around it, you know? Hell yeah. I haven't played Zomboid. Then again, I could just go back to making them tiles. Will the chest be able to move, though? Let's say no. Let's say no, in which case it could replace a tile. It does lean into the Game Boy aesthetic. Hey, Alphonse. The other things I was thinking about was, like, map decals. But I guess... No, I do genuinely... Even if these things I'm writing now could be written as tiles, I do think it's really valuable to be able to have stuff with a square collision hull. I think that's just a really useful thing to have. I could just... You know what? I'm talking about a lot of ifs. I could just go ahead with the single component idea and just say square collision, and then see as the project goes on if I use it much, and if not I could refactor it back into just spawn room or something. Hello. I just really wanted it to reuse... Well, I do want it to reuse the current collision detection stuff. So we've got our big quad tree filled with all these axis-aligned bounding boxes. So you could use that to detect if the enemy's about to walk into it or not. Push them away. Just give it a massive mass. That would do the job. I think. I guess it could technically move by like a float. Okay, I'm having some second thoughts now. Maybe look at the nature of the tiles means you can skip the quad tree entirely. Well, yeah, but that's if I were to put it on as a tile. All right. So, like, one image you could also have is, like, the space... I don't know if I have a picture of the player in here somewhere, maybe under the concepts. That's quite old. Okay, well, whatever. Let's just do this for a second and just get some stuff going. Hang on just a second. This will help me describe things. Sake. Oh, here we go. So this is the player, right? I could also make it so the space around you, let's say this is a tile here. Kindly let me draw. There we go. This space around you could just be the spawn room, right? Pretend the player's visible, okay? And that sort of pen style thing that I showed you earlier could just be drawn here as sort of solid walls. You know, however it ends up looking, it doesn't really matter. This is just to give you a mental image that matches mine. The idea is, like, your spawn room would be this space that, like, the player, you know, would bounce against the walls off. But if you shoot it, it could either break the whole structure, or it would just break a hole in, like, that wall there, and you'd be able to leave. That might be the easiest thing to do, and then I wouldn't need to write anything new, because these could just be walls. And I wouldn't even need that CVAR anymore, because the enemies won't be able to see you inside a wall. That would be very simple. If I were to just make it like a space that you walked off of and the enemies stopped interacting with you, like, you know how some games may have like a sort of little platform that you walk off of. Something like this. And then, like, the moment you step off the platform, the enemies start, like, hitting you. That's sort of the structure I was trying to imagine, where you step off of it and then they're aggro. It's a bit video gamey, though. Maybe there's more fluff having it be something that you have to break your way out of. I guess it also gives you a safe space to learn the controls. You can have it not necessarily be in the tile data, but just occupy a region that happens to match the tile grid by using an integer rectangle of tile coordinates that floats. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It could just be grid-aligned entity. Grid-aligned collision, maybe. Map-aligned collision, tile-aligned collision, grid-aligned collision, I think works. And then that could be checked in its own set. Soft block if the player's out of ammo. Just give them infinite ammo in the spawn room. Or make it if you walk against it, it breaks. I don't know how I'm going to handle ammo. It's kind of the Overwatch thing where you have infinite in reserve, but I feel like that might not last. Ammo's a tricky thing. It's nice as a balancing measure to make you switch guns or chase after ammo, but it's frustrating sometimes. Doom had that issue. They make it so you have to do all those melee kills. So you have a melee weapon in that game. Like making you punch enemies to death in this because you ran out of ammo is annoying. So I could also make it so ammo just recharges slowly over time, I guess. That's not a concern for now anyway. You know, the spawn room could be, if this helps you build a different mental image, the spawn room might as well be like, might as well be just like the side of an ambulance, you know? Like, as long as you're in there, the enemies don't attack you, but then the moment you leave, they're aggressive. You can picture it as that. You know, you leave the ambulance, you've got full health and full ammo and stuff because you stole it out the back or whatever. But then the moment you leave it, it no longer protects you. That's functionally what this is. My mental image is it's like the safe rooms in Left 4 Dead, but much less exciting looking. Which just have a door, but I think it's more fun if you have to smash your way out. I think that's interesting. I don't know how I'm going to make that work thematically. In this case, the spawn room could literally just be like trees. You know, it's a big tree you're in. Now I'm kind of leaning towards making it a tile. Because it's kind of cool if in like the first level... Oh, dude, we're playing Close to You again? I love this song. You know, if the spawn room you're in is actually just like the inside of a tree, like your character was hiding from stuff in safety. I fucking love this song, dude. You know, however, the inside of a tree looks. Whatever. That could introduce you to the idea of breaking down walls to escape, as long as you don't shoot yourself with a rocket launcher. Thank you, Lily. That's great advice. +1. That feels kind of thematic, doesn't it? Chat? Because the implication is there'll be a little intro screen explaining how you got here. But I think it kind of makes sense that like you wake up inside like a safe zone, like you've burrowed inside a tree or something. Kind of like that idea. I wanted to be really lazy. I wouldn't need to draw new sprites. I could literally just spawn walls around you. And then the floor underneath you could just be that destructed floor. It can change based on the level and setting. Yeah, like if you drop into a cave, you could drop into like a little sub-cave or something. Interesting. That might simplify some of these thoughts, but I'm still thinking about that square thing for like a chest. But then again, I could just make it so the chest has like a really high mass. Maybe it's okay for it to have a round thing. Thank you, mate. That's fair. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I mean, I'm making a game very much for me. I have a very specific genre of game that I like, and there's not enough of them in the exact way I like it. So I can kill two birds with one stone and have fun making a game, but then also make like my ideal game. And it also means when I think about like ideas for what I think is cool, it's because I think it's cool as a player, if that makes sense. I could lull you to sleep. Buddy, I've got 20,000 hours worth of content. Start snoozing. Start snoozing. See what Donut was saying. You can even with floats, assuming you have one spawn room and one player, you can just call intersect every tick and not worry about it. That's true. Okay. For now, I'm going to be lazy. And shelve the idea Yes, I think that makes my life easiest, being lazy. So what I'm gonna do is in the spawn area, I'm going to instead of all this, I'm going to replace all of these floors with floor destroyed, floor flowers, whatever, doesn't really matter. Sorry. And then I'll make everything around it into walls. And that'll do me for now. It does mean you're screwed if you spawn into the level with 2 rocket launchers, but sucks to suck. Maybe? Should I let people shoot themselves with a rocket launcher and lose? Yeah. Yeah, it's on them, right? I mean, I could, you know, if you wait in the spawn room for 10 seconds, maybe it just crumbles or something. I don't know. Alright, you're in the same boat. You're developing an online text-based MMORPG. Oh, sick. Like a text-based MUD sort of thing. Nobody would already play it, but you enjoy developing it, and hopefully a few handful of people enjoy playing it. Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah, buddy. Yeah, text adventures are not so many of them these days. There's a lot of visual novels, so there's a desire for reading text. I guess visual novels are a lot more just clicking through and reading, more like a story. Text adventures are a bit more interactive, I guess. I could see it. Why VS Code? I use it at work. So, regardless of how I feel about VS Code, I think it's best to just use the one tool so I can get familiar with it. They're also visual. Yeah, but there's a lot of VNs that leave a lot to the imagination. But that's true. I mean, text adventures can also have visuals, but usually it is just raw text, I guess. Plenty of older text adventures will provide you like a little ASCII art or something, though. Hello, lazy. Okay, let me think for a second. You know how to be lazy, chat. You do this. You say if x offset abs is equal to spawn room radius, or I think this will work. It might not, but I like being lazy sometimes. That might work. If you abs the offset, then it provides you just positive, and if it's equal to the spawn room radius, then it means it's an outer edge. Otherwise, it's a floor. And then I never fill this tiles thing, so it doesn't do anything. Character sprites disappear. Oh my god, what's going to happen? That is frightening. That is frightening. Mostly buttons, inputs, and text, yeah. I'm excited to see what you do. Have you got any work in progress screenshots or anything? How long have you been working on it? Lazy, lazy, lazy. Well, sometimes it's just not worth overthinking these things, you know? Let's see. Did not seem to draw a wall about you. I'm guessing that's because it doesn't replace what was there already with a wall. Oh, that's weird. No, this is an actual crash. Vector subscript out of range. Oh? Oh, I deleted most of the characters. That makes sense. Okay, this makes sense. Yeah. I deleted most of the character data, so fair enough. How's characters being passed in? You're being moved in from when you're being constructed. You're getting it from asset manager characters, and then on what? Are you just like a hard-coded number or what? No, you're being added to all character data. That's interesting. I thought I... Character JSON. There's only 2 characters, right? So all character data should just have 2 elements. Hang on, I need to check this. What was it? Okay, that's fine. When was the crash? I think it was something to do with menuing, right? Oh, here we go. Did I somehow delete the characters struct? Hang on. Can't believe you defeated the Demon Lord in the epic battle you just had. Dude, Blue Archive is full of that. They have like the sound effect for shooting stuff. It's very funny. So capacity is 2. There's 2 elements loaded. Characters is a... what? It's a vector of character data. Oh, you know what? It might also be a problem. Well, hang on, actually. Character buttons gets deleted. And it's got this lambda that I guess is being executed way after it's been created. Is it possible that characters has been destructed by the time that you click on it or something? That's funny if so. We're just doing action. I don't want to refactor all the menus now. CBA. That's concerning though. Reference wrapper around characters I. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna mark this as a bug, and then I'll move on with the level stuff because we gotta make pace, right? Known bugs: menuing in and out from game to char select crashes on send console message line 16 character select. Hello, and then I'll just pop this call stack because you can just you can just copy and paste this whole thing. It's actually kind of sick. I can put that in the Trello issue, and then I can look at that another time. Hello, Dov. All right, let me move on then. It seems that in the level generator system, I guess we're overwriting wall undefined randomized tile. Generate spawn room should happen. Oh, it happens first. Well, probably should put that at the end, I think. I guess it's being overwritten by the level generator, so if I just pop that at the very end. So before the auto tile walls, yes, the progress no longer makes sense. What I can do, progress plus user 14. Okay, whatever. The progress bar doesn't make sense anyway, don't tell anyone. Top 5 favorite games. I like Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker and Twilight Princess and Pokemon Blue. Hey look, spawn room. So I could, it's really funny seeing the enemies spawning. It seems to be breaking the auto tiler a little bit. Oh, I just saw the auto tiler break it loose. It's really funny seeing the enemies spawn inside the room and just be flung out because the collision has no idea how to handle it. Look at him go. Give him a second. Yeah, could fix that. Let me change. Yeah, like sometimes I see you're wrong. I think the auto tiler doesn't use... it does use undefined. Generate spawn room. Well, I just pop you in there like that. Oh, you know what it is? The auto tiler also takes into account it takes into account the floor, right? I thought. Because we have all these patterns, right? Although we're using tile category here. And we're matching the patterns. This stuff was such a fucking hassle. These should be just using category. And I would have thought that floor destroyed was a flaw. It is. Okay. You like Cyberpunk, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Metro. New games. You like Elden Ring... There's 3 Neos. Bloodborne, Sekiro, and Crimson Desert. You guys all like this modern stuff. No love for Rayman on the Game Boy Color? I like Rayman. I guess it could happen before the walls. Yeah, it should happen before the walls, actually, I think. Because it's considered a small wall. Small room. One in the 2000s, you mostly played 3D games and stuff. Fair enough. Does that fix the level generator? Let me see. Could of course make the spawn room just a little bigger, but that's fluff, right? Let's see. I think that's fixed the tiling. And thematically, I think it makes a little bit more sense, right? So we could do some drawing. Don't tell anyone. Do I want to do drawing? Because if I want to come up with a whole tile set for these logs, it's going to be a bloody mess. Absolute bloody mess. I basically have to do all of this stuff for the spawn room, just the way that they'd attach. Vintage Story, Ryzen, Victoria, Rimworld, Company of Heroes. Oh wow. The game I'm making is your #1 favorite already. Hell yeah, buddy. This will run on your 4GB laptop, buddy. Don't worry about it. Top 3 shows or anime? I like Angel Beats and Gakugarashi and I don't know. Frieren. That's a good list, right? I think that's a good list. Toho is not in your favorite games of all time, he says to himself. I'm just wondering. I could... Vinland Saga. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood's good. Frieren's very good. I could also make it so it just doesn't interact with the normal auto tiler and it uses a different pattern. Assuming my spawn rooms are always kind of the same shape and they don't use any of these patterns. What I could also do is have spawn room tile map. No, that would confuse things. Could also just make the spawn room look like something like this as well, so it's just got a handful of sprites. This looks a bit more tree-like, doesn't it, this section? Do I have tinting? I could trivialize things if I just made it tint brown. I haven't seen Vinland Saga. I've seen the manga in like a lot of shops. What tiles are relevant here? You can see Ace Bright, right? Just give me a moment, I'm going to cook something up. This is what we call being efficient with our resources, chat. You're curious about how it works. That's going to be problematic. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Eh? Oh, that makes sense. Something like this, right? I don't know if you need a grass variant. Hang on a moment, let me undo some of these changes. We do this once, and then we use the setting to modify and reuse existing tiles. We can color all of these. Oh, actually, shit, I kind of like how this looks. Does that look better? Chat, does the level look... It looks a lot nicer. I kind of like that. It's kind of sick. Okay, maybe I keep that at the back of my head. I kind of love that in a lot of ways. Okay, just put a pin in that. It looks very complicated. Episode 24 is rated 9.9. Oh wow. My game will be a roguelike, yes. Your top games are TF2, Battlefield 3, CG, World of Terror, World of CG, Toho 6 to 11, and Empire's mod for HL2. Empire's mod for Half-Life 2. Empire's mod for Half-Life 2. This'll do. Whatever. There's a way to view the... Am I excited for GTA? Not really. I mean, I haven't played Grand Theft Auto. Chrono Gears Warden of Time. Oh yes, CGWOT. Yeah. Half-Life is nice, yeah. You should play Half-Life, it's a good game. Hang on a hot minute. Why are you like this? Oh, you hold down control for this. Okay, there we go. So let me... I don't know why you need to be so many things. Oh, maybe you do need those. What's so special about Half-Life? It was genre-defining game. It's very fundamental. Anything you like about gaming is probably somehow derived from Half-Life in some way, shape, or form. The fact that Steam exists is because of Half-Life, I think. I suspect. It's a very important game. I made the art. Yeah, thank you. I'm really proud of the art, to be honest. Some of it's not the best, but I think the character art's really good. I tried really hard. I'm not really an artist either, so this was pretty good. That's not right. This one. Here we go. What would you say the inside of a tree looks like? Looks good enough to me. It's fine, right? It'll do. Looks alright, doesn't it? Kind of tree-like. Thank you. You'd like to try making something similar? You can. Oh, you would not get Team Fortress 2 without Half-Life. That's true. Is it easy to tell that this is a flaw? I can't really tell. So I like the colors, but it's a little tough to tell. Like that looks a little more like the inside of wood, but it's kind of frightening. Godspeed. Thank you. I am crazy. He's grey. Ooh. That's moody. I mean, I think I'm overthinking this. It's good enough for now. Easy of Glide 330, cool. So we're... How do I say this? The OpenGL implementation is being handled by LibDonut, which is the devs in the Twitch chat. I would assume he's using OpenGL 3.3 if that matches up with the LAD version, but I've chosen to offset that to him. Yeah, it's 3.3 core, yeah. Are you doing your own projects? Meta? Han Tunk Luck? I don't know if I said that right. I definitely didn't. Why do I have so many duplicates? I don't really understand that. That's a bit much, isn't it? I need to resolve this. Oh, maybe it's because I colored the inside. Yeah, ideally I'd like to not have a bunch of extra tiles like this. You know what, let's go back on this whole thing. No worries, you're making your own engine in DX12 because you have experience with PlayStation 5. Oh, wait, is PS5 PlayStation 5? And MVM API, considering making a proper RHI. You've got a link. Let me have a look. Is that on GitHub? Horizon rendering engine. Pure bindless rendering engine running on DX. How have you found your experience with DX12? I heard that, at least compared to like 9, it's a lot more of a hassle to work with. I remember that like was it Monster Hunter World developers were complaining about it? Because like it released on DX11. They wanted to have DX12 support, but then it took them like a year to rewrite that portion of the engine. And then eventually it ran better, but I heard that the API was an absolute mess to work with. Single-threaded. This is really cool. Nice work, dude. This is awesome. Is there a goal that you're working with for this, or is it just for the experience of working with your own engine? Like, is it... I'm guessing it would look nice on your CV, of course, but... Is there something you'd want to do with the engine afterwards? It's nice. You wish you had something between DX11 and 12, but it's always a mess if you're using almost no driver API. Oh, cool. This looks really interesting. How long have you been working on it? It says that you contributed last month, but I'm not about to dig through to see when you made it and stuff. That's really impressive. I can only imagine the hassle it takes. If you have DX12 experience, you'd go straight for Vulkan. Yeah, I've heard a lot of comparisons between 12 and Vulkan. Partially for the complexity, I suppose, but no. You know, to simplify things, I think I might just delete these tiles with the colored edge. And just have... Yeah. Probably shouldn't be spending so long on this in particular, but there you go. It's at least setting precedents for doing this sort of thing in the future, right? I don't exactly remember the layout I was going with. It was a 3x3 in the middle. Let me just draw this from scratch to try and get an idea of what I'm doing here. I basically want to minimize the amount of work I'm doing here. Which makes sense, right? Something like this. Ah, I see what you've got here. You've got those weird inner things, right? Me. Okay. Okay, this makes a lot of sense then. I can cut different things. Hello. Use Vulkan for 4 years, worst 4 years of your life. Oh dear. Maybe it's not platform locked, I guess. For this one, you want to try making a Taz wanted clone by yourself at some point, but you need lots of DLL work and editor. Taz wanted. Like the tiger? Oh. Ah. Like a 3D platformer. I don't know if it's a 3D platformer. I haven't played Taz. Looking at it at a glance, it makes me think of a sort of early 2000s collectathon. I'm guessing you spin around and stuff. The Vulkan approach is pretty weird if you compare it with PS5, Nintendo, and Apple and stuff. You mean like Metal? With Apple stuff? One of the best 3D platforms you should try. Really? It looks cool. Like, the style is off the fucking charts. I'm a massive fan of games that don't just use square boxes. Ignore the square boxes on my screen. Like Metal API. What does I'm guessing PS5 has its own, I guess, some equivalent of DirectX, right? Sony X. Direct Sony. Direct S. What's the story? That's a secret. You will learn over time. He has AGC and it's just a DX12 clone. Oh. Fair enough. Because I don't know how modern development in AAA studios works, but I would assume that you usually stick to, you'd just be a PS5 dev or just a Microsoft dev or just a Switch dev. I understand that companies port, but I would have assumed that they have a different team to perform porting. But and then have people dedicated to each specialized API, graphics API. Metal is pretty close to DX12. Okay. I'm very much a hobbyist, so my knowledge for this is very consumer focused, if that makes sense. Sorry, not that one. Whoa. Whoa. I delete the horizontal one. Whoops. Something like this. Okay, this might work. Am I stupid? Sorry. I'm so sorry. You're watching an idiot. It's my mistake for being me, I guess, but at this point it would have been a lot faster just to draw it myself from scratch instead of trying to copy my pre-existing tiles. Why don't I do that? Why don't I just do that? No. I'm sorry. Letter limit's not enough to explain. Fair enough. They usually create compile time myRHI, work on DX12 on editor, and then they switch configuration and build and publish. Oh. So most of them will just, in development, they'll work on one particular API as like the default, and then everything else will just be shipped as like a build setting. Oh yeah, that's the Xbox binary. But they will usually stick to one during development, I guess. Yeah, mostly the default is DX12. Okay. That's interesting. Look at this. I can get rid of these. I can get rid of these. I can get rid of these. I can get rid of these and these. Are the only options for the top ones to have them like that? I guess so, yeah. Sorry, I'm not stupid. I'm just stupid. Let me try and organize these things a little bit. This'll do. You'll do. Alright, I think this is all I need. I just need to organize my thoughts for a second. You can go... something like that. Alright, this is perfect then. This should do. So let's see. Something like this. Something like this. Something like this. Something like this. Bam bam bam. Oh, it's nice when it comes together, isn't it? Bam 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 bam. Oh, whoops. You want to be like that. Alright. Good enough. Good enough. There's some geniuses like id Tech, they're exceptional. The default is VK. Is VK Vulkan? You need to increase the volume, you can't hear shit. Really? Is anyone else having volume problems? Because my mic is hitting the red in OBS. That should be more than enough gain, I'd hope. Is anyone else having issues? Sounds good to you? Is it possibly it's just your audio settings? Do you have 100% on Windows or your whatever your operating system is? The music's a little low. The music's low on purpose. It's quite loud on my end, so I can drown out my thoughts, but I have it pretty quiet on stream. It's minus... Well, it's only minus 14 decibels, actually. Normally I'd have music at like minus 30 or something. But you guys can actually hear a decent amount of the music. Alright, that'll do. Thank God for natural shapes. This is gonna suck if I ever make like an unnatural shape, like a cube. Because this will work for now. You can kind of like live with these things kind of being a little funny. Game Boy brain and all that. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. That'll do. His stream's always a few notches lower than the rest of the platform. I mean, I can change my audio settings, but like, I haven't had complaints before, so I kind of hope that they were okay. What kind of content do you normally watch? Or is it just other like streamers? I try to be pretty mild with the audio because I know a lot of people watch me as like background audio. And it's kind of annoying if your background audio is all over the place and busy. Alright, this'll do. That looks kind of like wood, right? Ish. Look, we're gonna add a new row. 178 plus 32, quick maths. Is it 32 or 16? I guess it's plus 16, so it'd be 92. Yeah, looks right. Do 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 do. Boom, 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 boom. Right. Oops. A sprite can accept calculations while working. What? I've been doing mental math this whole time like an idiot. That's amazing. I had no idea. Holy shit. Where were you 6 years ago? Ah! I've spent so much time thinking and learning maths. Stupid, stupid, stupid. That's really useful. -1 to the daily use of maths, though. Damn. Alright, that's cool. Alright, we'll export that, and now I need to change this. It's not stupid, you trained your brain. Yeah, I guess. Stupid. Every app has this stuff. I had no idea. That's really good to know. I'm gonna add some new stuff in map. This is how I do my map data. How many things I just add? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let me hide that for a moment. Oh dear. Something like that. This will be called tile tree something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I just added 8, right? Yeah. And you will be at 2. Whee. And you are at, I guess, 0 to 8. Yeah. Whoops. Macros. No macros. No macros. This is all human-made. Ignore the multi-cursor. Ignore Control-D. Control-D is not real. It can't hurt you. Fun fact about Control-D, which you already knew. But, like, if you use these things in Find that you can't see because there's sprites on the screen, this stuff in Find, like the match case and match whole word, apply to Control-D. So if I had lowercase wall and uppercase wall, normally they'd match with Control-D. If you just have it on match any, but if you have it on like case sensitive or word sensitive, you can change what Control-D interacts with. Handy stuff. Oh, but you knew that already, didn't you? After all. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So, I guess I'll just make them walls for now. You did not know that. There you go, Buster. Prefer not using... You're praising JSON in a basic serializer. You're not using them for a long time. You mean instead of this stuff? Oh, you mean macro? You don't mean macro? Oh, sorry, I think I meant macros like keyboard macros. You mean fucking C macros? Yeah. Sorry. My bad. Overloaded term. I thought you saw me using Control-D. That classic 11 o'clock coffee, yeah. This is how you blast through a fucking 12-hour workday if you're in Demise chat. Don't do it. It's bad for you. These need to have names, so this is going to be... What do I normally call them? Northwest? I'll keep them simple names, because I've only got a few. I normally name them after what they interact with, right? So the 0th one is Northwest. So Southeast is what it interacts with. Northeast. Southwest. Okay, that's fine. I can reuse that terminology. So... In fact, I really should just make these match. I can make these match the below like this. That would make sense. Yeah, I was wondering why I had them like this. This one. This one. Why do I have two horizontals? Whoops. I guess you aren't needed. Yeah, 7 makes more sense. I don't know why there was 8. Something like... Perfect. Holy macros. Don't look at my macros, chat. It's embarrassing. Coffee does exist. Magic enum library. Magic enum library. Magic enum. C++. How does this work? Header only C++. Blah, 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 blah. Header only C++ library. Provides static reflection for enums? That's black magic. This looks rather handy. Reflection in my C++? How does it work? It does not pretend to be a silver bullet for reflection. It was designed for a small enum. Oh. I'll keep this at the back of my head. Is your game going to have ray tracing? Of course. How would I sell it otherwise? Magic enum name my enum my value returns standard string view my value. That's insane. We were meant to get some form of reflection in like C++ 26 or something, right? But what form was that taking? Just a question. Let's see. So the first four should match these. So it's northeast, north. Doesn't Magic enum also use macros? I'd assume so. Then I need horizontal, vertical, and floor. I just call them horizontal, vertical, floor. Horizontal, vertical, floor. Sure. This'll do. It's so hard for C++ to have reflection. We need to implement it ourselves using macros, template tricks, and compile time stuff. Yes. Function mostly. I mean, these macros here are what I'm using. So the screen is separated into tiles usually. Everything's on a nice big grid. All of this is the data that any tile can be. You can treat it as like a tile type. So I also use it when I'm drawing. I pass this into the shader that draws the world. And it converts from this into like a section that you provide inside the sprite sheet. But it also has extra information, so you can say a tile of this type is a wall. That tile category has collision. That tile category has health. So you can shoot walls and they'll have different amounts of health. And those are defined here. 26 added reflection with the IO error $. Does it have to be so difficult? Up, up. Carrot, carrot. Magic CNum looks a similar thing, actually. Enum does a similar thing. You have template magic that lets you get string from enums without macros. What the fuck? It's not runtime related. It doesn't have type accessor systems. It's basically just an extended type ID. Oh. Yeah, I haven't looked into it too much. We're still using 17 at work forever. I don't know if we'll ever get to update. I'm surprised it's so modern. Only 9 years old. And then here I just, you know, I think we're using we used 20? 23? I don't remember. I think it's just 20, right? Yeah, just 20. Based on a hack with standard source location. Oh, as in, like, does that provide you the, like, file that the what's the word I'm thinking of? Token is from. And save time rather than reinvent the wheel and implement with ugly macro code. Oh. Nice. This is a great Seraphit song. Forget me not. I need to find me some Seraphit CDs, dude. Okay, so we've got now these wall categories. I think I want to have a separate category for these tree things, but I don't know if that makes sense. I guess I could just say it's air. It's really like, this is kind of going to annoy me with the auto tiler, because I kind of want the auto tiler to ignore this section. How was I using not wall again? Remind me. This was being used in a pattern to suggest if something there was or was not a wall, right? No, this stuff sucked. Recursion is sketchy. Yeah, was it NASA that says, like, instead of using recursion, you should all your loops, or everything should be iterative, and you should replace all your while loops with like a known end, so like a 4, 0 to size T max or whatever. I think? Question mark? I need to remind myself how I use this. Just anything that isn't a wall, right? Should include undefined. And then you're used with patterns, of course. You're used to define the layer. It's not a wall. Okay. I think I have an idea of how this could work. Let's call it spawn wall for now. Does the on-screen chat not escape HTML when it's from YouTube? Wait, what? Hang on, did you write divs in my chat? Whoa, that's crazy. Wait, hang on. Can you arbitrarily execute stuff in that Streamlabs overlay? I guess maybe it just deletes it. It's just processing the HTML. You know, you guys are joking about this, but I'm pretty sure in early days on Justin TV, you could do a drop tables request directly into the chat because it was just an IRC. It might still be IRC, but it was like a very basic IRC channel, and they would just they were not sanitizing very well. But I don't know if I remember if that's an old wives' tale or if it's true. Interesting. Engage with your audience. Members only live stream. I don't think I will, YouTube. I can start a poll though. Answer a question. There you go, chat. What do you prefer? H1 or B? Oh, that's cool. It shows it in the on-screen chat as well. Ignored your greater and lesser than signs when you wrote Magic Enum. Oh, I guess they're just nuking anything kind of codey. Okay, spawn wall. It will be a floor. How do you get this macro slop? What do you mean macro slop? Why is it so hard to just paste something, Windows? Macro doesn't make sense to you. It does a string replacement functionally, right? Is it preprocessor? What's the... Oh shit, YouTube is destroying my computer right now. Wow. Macro slop. It is preprocessor, right? You meant the macro syntax. Oh, yeah, macro is... Oh, really fucking weird. Yes, I agree. I mean, to be honest, this makes sense now that I have it. If that makes sense. There was a way to see expanded macros, right? Somehow? I don't remember how you do it in VS Code. There was a way to do this. Like they are typing stuff for you, like a macro does. This is all tile types is, for example, is it just makes all these for me, so I don't have to do them. Right? That's all this does. But the syntax is kind of hard to do. You need me to offend me? Oh no, it takes a lot. You'll have very fun debugging those preprocessors. Oh, don't worry, I've already done the work. But now I'm editing it again. No! Oh. I was thinking I'd save time by just having this very nice looking file set. But now I'm like, oh fuck, I want to have like a secondary item on the map, so whatever. I was thinking I could also just like have palette data and just palette swap on those tiles, but let's move on with my life. Let me think. What does this do now? Nothing, I think. I need to go to level generator system. Spawn walls, construct walls, generate spawn room. You need to be tile 3 whatever. Let's see how this looks. And just without any code to... You don't need to be constructed exactly, do you? Or do you? Oh. Yes, you do. Colin, me surprised. Mr. Donut Lib. Donut, you might get another user. Quickly, swoop in and get him. Use modern graphics API and have intrusive thoughts. Train tracks are looking mighty fine today. What? Oh wow, this looks sick. I've made a horror game. It's quite scary. It's actually quite scary. Did I export this? I did. Hmm. How do you get assets like that? I drew them. If you can believe it. What have I done? What have I done? Oh, you. That makes sense. Not that I think this makes a huge difference. Looks better than the 50Ks of non-working engine. Yeah, but you've grown your brain. Define const expr like that. You made a struct called color. Yeah, you can just, what would that do? Are you replacing the word const expr with red color everywhere? Alright, that's slightly better. Why am I in a horrorscape is the next question. I like that you're pink. And was any of this really worth the effort? Phew, solved that problem. Alright, seems to have broken how I do floor. The main menu is a shader, yeah. It's a picture of my carpet from when I lived in London. Obviously. I've done something wrong here. I need to look at my... It would do that, yeah. If someone is defined private public. Oh yeah, I talk about that one all the time. That's a great one. Okay. Let's see. You can prefer inline const expr instead of static const expr. Oh yeah. JoJo's stand. Alright, I mean, there's not a lot that changed in here. I just added some new walls. Something about these walls' existence is upsetting the balance of this planet. In headers, inline const expr is generally better. Is it something I should just accept, or is there a reason I want to believe that? And if I just make you wall and floor, are you happy again? Something like this. Oh, the poll is still going. I'm gonna finish the poll. Who won? So between header 1 and bold, header 1 won with 67%. 6 out of the 9 votes. Okay, hang on a moment. Something's really quite broken then, because now you're just spawning... Oh, you're the wrong way around, of course. That's weird, though. I only changed this stuff. Why... I changed something significant in the sprite. Hang on a moment. Tilemap.asprite. What's wrong with you? What's wrong? And if I just don't generate the spawn room at all, the drawing is still fucked? Because then that would imply that I've just broken something in my tile map, but that should be okay. Oh, hang on, did it shift? Oh, you look okay. Why are the floors messed up? Yeah, I get that generate spawn room. Oh, it shows you the difference between... Oh, hang on. Was this thing different before? Were you transparent? What are you? Why are you transparent? I don't remember giving birth to you. Is that it? Are you no draw? And you're not transparent anymore? Is that what happened? Oh, cock. I know exactly what happened. How does that happen? Oh, I probably hit fill? No, how did that happen? Well, come on, just let me write. A save. Export. People keep talking about tutorial hell. I don't remember tutorial hell being a thing. I've heard it so much in the last like month from like a YouTube chat, but it's like a new thing to me. Is it a trendy thing, or have I just not been in tutorial hell? In CPP files, you have global variables. You should put them in anonymous namespaces to handle translation unit duplication. That's good to know. I mean, I do make use of anonymous namespaces, but I don't... Oh, that's interesting. The only times I really use global variables are for like really niche debugging things where I know there's not going to be any collision problems. Like all this imgui stuff. There's a couple of static ints just sitting in like a function for this sort of thing to work. But I know I'm not going to write something colliding with that. Okay. You'd understand if you have a lack of knowledge. I have plenty of lack of knowledge. It takes me forever to come up with solutions for things. But I think it's just that, like, I don't know, maybe I just didn't use enough tutorials. But, like, is the implication that, like, you don't want to do tutorials, but you feel like you have to? Or is it that the tutorials suck? Or what part? Star Platinum's like a JoJo thing, right? I guess just what is tutorial hell? Because sometimes I hear something and it's like, it turns out it's just like something from like a YouTuber that I don't know, but they're like really popular. Like, oh, you don't know John the Coder? He's huge. He always talks about this. I like one, I don't know. Let's see. So we're now generating these again. And they're using the normal stuff. So now I can go back to making you use the wall. What did I call this again? Spawn wall tree? Wall? What did I call you again? Tile tree northwest tile tree floor. Yeah, making projects I find so much more useful to learn than to just follow a tutorial. Alright, something about this thing existing does break the thing. You are not wall. How should I treat you? I guess I could treat you as a floor. Or as a darkness. Oh, I should probably treat you as like air or current. Inaccessible. What's going on? I'm trying to make the spawn room. Which sounds easy because it was, but now I want the spawn room to have its own tiles that interact with the pre-existing tile set, and that is just a little bit more complicated. I guess the level generator never expected there to be a not wall in this position, so I guess I could also just have it as another I don't want tiles to take up that much space is the problem. Because there's a lot of them, right? It's just a U8 Vec2 right now. Implying this. I guess actually I can do whatever I want here. Tutorials are good for giving you exposure to basics and different concepts, but if you have to use them on your own afterwards to really learn stuff. Yeah, I think that's a fair thing to say. Like, it's nice if you want just a way to get your head in the door without having a completely blank piece of paper in front of you. But you do run the risk of only doing something if it's in a tutorial and not thinking of your own solution. But I guess if you're right at the start, it can be handy. What does the game look like? I mean, it's broken right now, but it looks like this. I'm currently fixing this spawn room stuff. Oh, these don't explode the wall because they do more than 1 damage, right? I thought. Debugging help. No, I just need to think. I just need to use my brain. So the way that the auto tiler works is I basically hand wrote a bunch of patterns for every single one of these options, which took a hot minute. But those patterns don't allow for this. The way the game is built, you generate a bunch of floors, and then you assume everything that's not a floor is air, the blackness here. And anywhere that air and floor hits, you fill in with a wall. And that's the very basics of how this works. But that also implies something, which is that air never touches floor. So I have no patterns for keeping track of that. In this case, I've said that these spawn areas, these spawn tiles, are not walls. They are their own new thing. But the patterns have nothing to say for, well, if it's not a wall and it hits the floor. That's not been accounted for. So I could also just say it's a wall and just see how the tiling looks. They will get auto-tiled over, but that's fine, just to see. If I say that you're a wall... Well, in fact, spawn wall, when I'm normally testing for, wall, I can also say if the check pattern is wall and this is a spawn wall. So I can sort of functionally say they're the same temporarily. See, I don't know if I want to keep this, but this may... Oh, hang on. If it's equal to not wall, my pattern is not wall, or not. Well, and not spawn wall. So they're functionally the same, but it won't get overwritten. Yeah, a little messy. Chili tomato noodle. That's a very programmer name. Alright, let's see. So this is now just letting things tile into it as if these walls were continuous. So you'll see that everything should just work. Obviously the room itself is just the top left. Which is maybe this is fine. What I could also say is, if it's expecting floor, you can also treat these as floor, and then they will give you this nice ending block. I can test that as well. It's cute. Thank you. I've tried really hard on this. It's also really nice having a wall with 0 health, or like 1 health, so you can just one-shot it. Oh, I don't have explosive bullets. Anywho. I agree, facts. The design is very human. I can get rid of this bit here. And let me think. If it's not wall, it's not equal to wall. If it's undefined, or my pattern is check pattern, or these last two should be in a little friendly house together. Let's say check pattern is floor and mine is a spawn wall. So in this very specific case, you will be treated as such. So now you see he ends like this, because he treats this as a floor. You shouldn't be in here with me, little guy. Alright, it has some breakages. You know why it has some breakages? It's not being surrounded by wall. Which is a problem. I can simply check... Jesus wept. I can simply check around the spawn room for air and fill it in with wall. That's not a problem. In fact, let's do that now. Do you have filters instead of for each and returns? There's ranges and views. My sort of motto with programming something like this that can get quite complicated is to keep it as legible and easy to maintain as possible, and for me at least this is quite easy to read and parse and modify and update, so this is what I use. There will definitely be a way to do this with ranges somehow with some API, but this is easiest for me. But when you do need it, they are there. There's, you know, one-liners where you pass in a lambda with a what do you call this? Proof? That's not the right word. Predicate, I guess. Usually for finding and sorting, those what I use it for. There's C++ will have plenty of things like this, but it's really, for me, I want things to be easy to read. So I tend to edge on the longer but easier to read kind of code, which you get the odd like newer developer that comes in and says, wow, this file is hundreds of lines long, and you know you can do all this in one line. But then I kind of hope in the back of my head there's some like senior that's like, nah, this is fine. Obviously there's problems in my code. It's a 6-year-old project. I can't pretend that some of the stuff in here makes any sense. But I'm still me. I like things to be easier to read where possible. So I think copying data like this in a nice block while there may be a way to simplify this, you know, you could use single letters for these enums. There's all sorts you could do. This is very hard to make mistakes. It's clearly a flaw. It's clearly an undefined code here. It's a stride. You could inline this stuff. It's easier for me to maintain, I guess. I wouldn't necessarily... I mean, you're welcome to take any thoughts from my code as you like, but it's always good to get second opinions. Anyway, let me think. I need to update my level generator. So construct walls. I think you need to check for... somewhere in here I think you're checking for floor. You need to also check for spawn walls. Let's see. If it's not equal to floor, continue. So we're only checking for floor. Really, we could have a function called something that combines these, or we add a new part of tile category that says like how it tiles. Let's keep our life easy. Let's just do this. Oh, whoops. Hang on a moment. So I'm going to extract this. Const auto tile cat is blah. If tile cat isn't equal to floor, or tile cat isn't equal to spawn. Continue. That should build walls around. Full type. Hang on a minute, I've just broken something. I think my logic there was wrong. Hang on. No, this is wrong. If it isn't equal to floor or it isn't equal to spawn wall. Hang on. Isn't equal to? Yeah. Is it and and? I'm getting a little tired, I guess. I is that right? Let me just double check before I start changing things. Is it and? I guess I'll try it. I can feel my brain having run out of battery. You know, like if you're at the gym and you try and push really hard, but the muscle just doesn't push. I have that with my head right now. I'm trying to like heat it up and move stuff, but it's just not. I guess it was and. It's just not working. I guess I've exhausted my brain for the day. I mean, it's been 3 hours of stream and I had an 8-hour workday, so I've been looking at code for 11 hours. Which makes sense. This is just what your brain does though, right? You're thinking 1 second and then the next, away it goes. Anyway, life happens, doesn't it? Let me try generating a few levels and seeing how this looks. Looks normal. I should specifically try and generate it in a dodgy way. So we'll make the room really small. I'll just see how these fit in, these lovely shapes. Something like this. It looks to me like it's fitting in quite neatly. Right? All safe for him. Eventually an enemy will spawn with me, I guess. Equal type auto is a return type. It's auto. As a return type, it's just auto, but it allows it to deduce to both a reference or a value, depending on what's actually returned. It says LibDonut. Donut, donut, donut. This looks fine to me. I guess when people ask me how I'm learning C++, I'm getting a lot of secondary mentorship from Donut. Secondary? I guess just primary mentorship. Very handy to have a Swedish man living in your PC. Okay, this is nice. Now I can make the spawn room of my dreams. So hang on a hot minute. You hope it's not where you live. So the spawn room's actually, instead of this radius thing I'm using, I think it's kind of chill to just make this in a lookup table. If my spawn room isn't really going to change its shape. What do you think? Because my PC, maybe you do live in my PC. Talk to me, myself. I could just make the spawn room a lookup table. You know? Like, let's say top left to top right. I mean, I could also just use my pattern matching code as well. I mean, the pattern matching code probably works, right? Pattern matching. Bloody patterns. Okay, tile floor normal. I guess you're being drawn as a floor? You should be using the new... Hang on, sorry, was this using the tree floor, or was this using a different floor? Let me see. You are not the right floor. Interesting. Why is that? Is it the way that update floor or update tile is working? Set tile should just set it. I would think. My worry is that it's already a floor, so it's like, well, I'm not going to bother updating myself. Is that true? Okay, I'll look at that again in a moment. The walls are the bit that's concerning me. I could either hard code the shape in essentially a lookup table, which I think would be perfectly fine. Or I could write a programmatic way to create the shape. Do you see the shape? This sort of thing. And I don't know which one I prefer, I'll be honest. The lookup table approach is very indie dev. I kind of think it's fun. I mean, I've already written an auto tiler, so I mean, it would just be the case of reusing that. I mean, just making a new pattern. It's all this stuff. Would you only care about orthogonals, right? I should just use the pattern. I mean, it's just this, I think. And horizontal, I guess. I'm thinking out loud. The reality is none of this matters. The people will turn on the game and they'll think, oh, look, you spawn in a tree, and then move on. Right? They won't care. I should tile. I mean, I wonder if there's a way to reuse this pattern. And just replace it. I mean, life's short, right? There's not much going on. We have these auth patterns. We do a little duplication. I was thinking, oh, I could run it through the old pattern, and then fucking replace it, but like, just copy and paste it. It's okay. Nothing bad will happen if you copy and paste. Spawn walls patterns. How lovely. So, how do you look? Something like this, I should think. Something like that. Horizontal, vertical. That'll be you. Did I not just copy and paste this? Windows does not want me copy and pasting this line. Why not? Control C, Control V. Alright. Windows is getting fucking confused. I might be stupid. Look, become a tree. What is an IED? It's like an improvised explosive device. You mean IDE is a... What does IDE stand for? I don't know what IDE stands for. It's the tool that you normally edit code and run it within, and it'll have a... Usually an IDE will have plugins and like a formatter and like a... It will make it easy to develop in. It's an environment. What does IDE stand for? Integrated Development Environment. Oh yeah. It is essentially just an environment you can program in. It does a lot of stuff for you. You can just program in a notepad file and then manually run like make on it and then execute it. Gotta go. See you, dude. Thanks for popping in. I wish you good luck with your project. Let me know in the future if it goes extra well. I'd like to see progress. On my desk by Monday. Let's see. Talk out wall. You are going to want to look for northwest. You're just going to want not wall. So instead of air. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm using VS Code because it's what I use at work. That's all. That's the reason. And it works well enough. I got this spawn wall patterns now. Oh, I guess I've got Clang format off in here. That is. Notepad sucks for coding. It's pretty quick. How complicated is the maths for a game engine? It's usually quite Googleable. If that helps. I'd say it's mostly searchable stuff. It's defined stuff. It's not. It's complicated for someone like me that's not very confident in maths, but usually you can find the answers you want with a quick search. And it's usually within similar fields. That being said, occasionally we find something that we think should be really common, but then we couldn't find an approach. So like, what was it? Line and capsule collision? Or was it capsule and box collision or something? Some like pretty normal intersections that just didn't seem to have an obvious answer. If you know how easy it is to run a compiler from the command prompt, you might have done on your C++ and Notepad++. Oh yeah. You tried making a game for a hackathon on VS Code. It was supposed to be a TypeScript game, but you failed. What went wrong? What's the program using for pixel art? This is Aseprite. Should I add that to the FAQ? Because people do ask that quite a lot. It's a great tool. I recommend buying it and supporting the developer. But you can also compile it from source for free. I don't think it's terribly expensive though. Anyway, let me think. So I've got my patterns now. Normally we do this. Let me think. You might not be needed. I guess I could just separate the auth stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna separate this briefly. Well, actually, no, that specifically relies on auth. Okay, hang on. Where are you being used? Down here, right? Apply pattern. So let's say if get tilecat is equal to tilecat wool, then we'll want to do this stuff. Am I stupid? Oh, it's this. Hang on, I've got too many. I've got things in clipboard, and that's screwing with my memory. We're just gonna just switch over this. This simplifies things just a tad. Case tilecat wall. No. Ah, for fuck's sake! I was hoping autocomplete would come to my rescue, but it never does. We're gonna have one for wall, we're gonna have one for the spawn wall, and then the default will be return. And in the case that it is a wall, then we want to, what's pattern normally? Tile type, right? I'm guessing. We do this, and then the update tile, and in this case we'll want to do it again, so then we can do the update tile stuff for both of them. I get it, don't worry. I'm pretty sure you are just a tile type, right? So we will have a tile type pattern. Just have, you can be pre-made if you like, defined. Don't care. And then we'll put this down here like so. You are going to use this function here, which I'm going to make called... Sorry, I'm not reading chat. I'm trying to get some work done quickly. Get tile type, get spawn room. Let's just keep it easy. Or we could just pass in the auth patterns as well. Auth patterns. It's really this match pattern call that matters. So yeah, I'll need my own thing. Get spawn room tile by matching pattern. Match pattern, and then you pass in check pattern and my pattern. Check pattern in this case would be spawn patterns. And then the rest of this is just fine. So that should be okay. With pattern? What was I call that function? I've already forgotten. This thing. Something like so. I think I could even extract this to use this and then pass in the pattern that you want to match with, which I might do. Hello. You've been using Critter, but you can't help but think it feels janky. I mean, Critter's probably fine, but Asperite's, for me, always been perfect-ish. What went wrong? It's probably the fact that you don't know how to code. Oh. Did you know what specifically went wrong? You said you wanted to make a game. What part went wrong? Why did I learn programming? in like 2007 or something in using GameMaker, which I did use a tutorial. I was stuck in that GameMaker tutorial heaven of making Click the Clown. And then I was like, oh, I think I roughly know what I'm doing. Made a few more little things. Made a nice Zelda game I was really happy with. Okay. So this is going to be... I wonder if there's a way to extract this even. This is going to be match auth pattern. Yeah, match auth pattern. So you're going to be a match auth pattern, and you're also going to want to take in one of these. Oh, you can make it auto. I'd rather not. Oh, maybe auto's fine. Yeah, why not? We can try it. Const. That's auto pattern. Something like this. So you just pass the pattern directly in. If it's undefined, then you want to return match auth pattern at position. Very nice. And I guess I could also check if the tile at that position is a wall or a spawn room. That could also work. Ooh. That actually might be the easiest thing to do. Yeah, that's... Does that simplify things? Hello. The map was perfect, everything was going fine, you realize you don't know how to make character movement. Did you, like, try and write it on, like, pen and paper first? That can be a good way to try and figure things out. You try watching my streams, learning from a master. These aren't really meant to be like tutorial streams though. You're welcome to sit and try and absorb and ask stuff, but I think you might struggle if you try and just blindly copy what I'm writing. They might not really make sense. I think it would make sense here to just pass in the type, because then I can say if you are a wall or a spawn wall. So I'm going to pass in a tile cat as well. It can be const, why not? Tile category, get tile type by blah 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 blah. And then yeah, I'll keep this like so. Take me back, please. Here we go. Is this the syntax for this? I kind of forget. Because this looks fucking weird to me, but C++ switches are a little strange to me. You know what, I could even do that stuff in here. So get tile cap. So here we go. So we're going to make it optional. Something like this. You are now going to return an optional. Get tile type by matching pattern, right? Oops. So now that you are optional, we can make this stuff in here do the switching or whatever. We'll switch over the tile cap. Kindly pre-populate my switch for me. VS Code. Wow. So this stuff can go pattern, I think, is a tile type, right? Okay. Auto. Oh well. Tile type pattern. How about that? Something like this. Pop that in under wall. For spawn wall, I would like you to be like this as well, but none of that. Simply spawn wall patterns, something like this. You don't need a break, I guess, because you are returning. And then the rest of these can just go away. I just have a default return. Return an empty, standard, optional. In fact, I'm not sure I need you to be up there. You can be like this. And... oh. What are you? What do you return? Like this? This is fine. Return pattern. Yeah, I guess you could return a tile wall undefined. This was meant to show me when something's missing. So this is kind of okay. Hello. Watching someone code complicate stuff gives you an idea of how everything works. That's fair. I hope you notice that, like, while there's a lot of code and files and stuff, I'm basically focusing on small parts for a long time. That's how this builds up over time. You don't do sweeping changes all at once. You make lots and lots of small little iterative things. I popped in a wreck right after you tried running headfirst into learning C++ Raylib from C#. Oh, hello. Every time you say facts, you think you're talking to the alt-tab. Sorry. Oh, because your name's Facts. Sorry. Oh, I'll think about that. Why are you watching this? Are you enjoying it? I think it could be fun to watch. I do find it... I don't know if it's bizarre or not, but I'm surprised at the number of non-programmers who like watching programming. I guess it's nice side monitor content, maybe, or it's interesting to see what goes into making a game with code. Many ways to make a game. All right. You are angry at me, aren't you? Oh, because you could be an optional. Okay, that's complicated then. Yeah, no, I just need to dereference you. That's perfectly fine. It's like watching a wizard nuke a city. I hope not. You started learning C++ as a hobby, that's why. Sounds like you are a programmer then, buddy. That's awesome. What brings you into the world of C++? Okay, let's see. So tile type is this, and this is normally done... oh, for just drawing stuff on here. That's fine. You've got tile type. Well, this is simple. Just pop that into a checker. So if there is a tile type there, and it has a value, then pop it in there. I'm being bought. Who's DMing me? Build that. Christopher. She's gonna go sleep. Okay. I'll stop shortly too. Just working one thing out. Let's try and get this spawn room thing working. It's not quite the whole plan for today, but it seems to be working. Oh, hang on. You also want to take a tile category. Do I know that? Should be able to work that out with just get tile cat at that position. Which I'm not already doing apparently. That's fine. Let's just do this. cat under cursor. Interesting. Shorthanding category to cat was a great idea. You should be okay now, I think. You're a reference, right? Passed as a const reference. Nice. And tile type, you are std optional. Oh, you need to use an arrow. Fine. And then I perhaps don't need to dereference you anymore? Or what? Yeah, okay. What about I'll do tomorrow? I recently picked up the Genshin story again. It was very good fun the other day. Alright, this is causing some problems, I see. If I make a particularly... Oh, hang on. That's quite wrong. Seems like the horizontal checker is wrong. It's also not doing anything on these. Let me think for a second. Level generator. Yeah, I know that you generate the spawn room, but you're called from somewhere, right? Auto tile walls. It should be walls time. Whoops. Let's see, auto tile walls. Ah, there we go. So if it's tile wall defined, or it is northwest spawn wall. No, what was it? Well. Get tile, get cat. What was it? Get tile cat. Type is... Oh, I don't want to call... No, actually, this should be okay. This is a little complicated. What are you? You just tile. Something like that. That may work. Let's see. That's a crash. Why is that? Abort. Get tile cat is aborting. You should be passing in tile type. Ah, you know what? It's too late in the evening for this. Let's just go with this. This should work. And look, nice. It's mostly working. It's a little off. But it's almost there. In a vacuum, it's just fine. It seems to be failing on the matcher though, like a cafe. Well, Can I do this? That may work. It just seems a little weird. That works. Wow, actually didn't change anything. No. What's wrong with you? Maybe this is a problem for another day. Dude, mousing mouse forward is a terrible idea. Breaks so many things. I did want to get this done. I'm wondering why the floor isn't rendering the way I wanted it to. Auto tile walls. Push back the chunks. This stuff should be pretty generic. Oh, perhaps, the pattern matcher was expecting, I was expecting something else to use. Yes, I think I might maybe know what this is. Maybe. Your spawn walls and a normal floor, aren't you? And you are spawn walls and anything not a wall. Right? So kind of thought those would match. It's not wall and it's not equal to wall. I guess it's not matching with that first thing. Check pattern is not wall, and I am not equal to wall. I basically want to treat the spawn wall as a floor when I'm matching a pattern with the normal walls, and I want to treat it as a wall when I'm matching it with the walls. Yeah, this is returning true if it's not wall and it's not equal to wall. Yeah. Yeah, no, this makes sense. I need to use a different match pattern. So this won't work. You can go under... This is a little messy. Yeah. Fine. Match spawn room pattern. I'll need to make something called that. And I'll think of a better way to do this later. I'm not a little tired for now. Fine. Really, this is the important bit. The check pattern is not wall. My pattern is not equal to... one more. Or if it's floor and your pattern is... Well, you're not checking for floors, so that's fine. In fact, I think these aren't. If it's equal to floor... Huh? Maybe this. This may work. I don't know. It's getting a little messy now. I'll have to think of a better way to do this. Build finished successfully. How about you execute the program? That was lying. I think I need to do this. Might be it. Does it match spawn pattern? Yeah. Yeah, I just got my APIs messed up. Well, my APIs, my signature. Interface? Interface, I guess. Whatever. Function parameter. Match spawn pattern takes a check pattern and a my pattern. Well, in this case, I kind of know what you want. You are not 23. You are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that right? Roll pattern is declared in case specific cases where the app doesn't recognize it outside of the case. What? Why are you empty? Hang on, I think I've got more things on my plate. Why is this empty? Map. I just made you empty. Oh, you were the function from earlier. I need to kill you. I hate how Git does this. That's messy. Let me have another look. Sorry, my brain's... I don't know if you can see me blinking like one eye after the other. It's fun. My brain's shutting down. This is all fine. Yeah, look, we mostly fixed it. When you destroy a wall, it does seem to get a little confused, let's be honest, but part of life, innit? It's mostly working. I don't know why the floor is like that. The floor should be better. But, you know, swings and roundabouts. Need to fix that. Oh, wait, hang on. Do I need to... Because you need to break the wall, do you need to have all these other tiles? Oh, maybe I do. Oh, this might be annoying. I was kind of trying to put off writing all these extra tiles, like drawing all these extra tiles, but I'm thinking at this point maybe it would have just been worth it to work out how to have multiple tile sets. Perhaps have a sprite position or an offset. I'm thinking now that might be the easiest solution. You are thinking you are a flaw. You are a flaw and you are a flaw, so you should be fine. Alright, I think it's too late for me to keep working on this for now. I'll have to come back to this when I'm conscious. I just punched my mic when I'm conscious. Maybe I didn't just break something. Yeah, it's too late to be thinking about this sort of thing. What I may end up doing is just biting the bullet and figuring out a way and just, you know, making a secondary tile set for this log texture, even though it may not be used. And just working out a way to further generify the tiles. So similar to how you'd have like a tint, you could have an offset in the sheet. That could work. You can toggle side-by-side view. Yeah, you can. This is what I get. Originally, you know, I started this. I was like, we're just gonna make a single tile on the floor for the spawn room. I just had to stick my nose in it. Yeah. I'm so tired. Yeah, it's too late to think about this for now. Whatever we have here is not perfect, but proof of concept wise, you can see something, and that's all I can say. I kind of thought I was done with tile stuff, so I'm a little annoyed to be touching it again. I mean, I'm kind of approaching the plan for today. The plan for today was to start working on like actual level design stuff. So having the spawn room is important, because whatever we do here will then be important later whenever I make like the boss room or whatever. So this is all useful work, I guess. And it might push me to doing one approach over another. Oh, it is kind of nice having the spawn room look like this. But then, ideally, when you break your way out, you'd want it to work, right? Because this is not okay. I don't know why it's drawing the floor like this. It's really weird to me. Well, anyway, I hope you liked the stream today. I may be back tomorrow with more. I should try and fix that at the very least. We'll see if I keep any of this. This might get discarded. We'll see how things look. Hope you liked the stream today, chat. I'm gonna head off. I'll see you next time. Have a look on Discord. I send announcements when I stream. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, a long work day. God, 12 hours. Alright. Good night. Bye-bye.